through to the close. Welcome in. It is going to be an interesting afternoon here in a couple of sense. We're stuck in a bit of a range on the overall market, but individual names showing a ton of strength, Tesla included. That's a look at where we are at currently. 0.44 for the S&P to the upside. The Dow back in the red, 0.18 to the downside, a full percent for the NASDAQ, meanwhile, leading the way as it has since, 9:30 this morning, let's be honest. 0.1 for the TSX here in Toronto. Brazil's higher. Crude, big move down, 2.6 for crude oil. That is off the lows, however, with about a half an hour to go in the pit session for crude today. 1.7 for Bitcoin. Ethereum, the one that went positive first this morning, continues that way, still up about 1%. Yeah, very mixed board to deal with, even though we are still up, as I said there, 0.44. There's energy, all of them to the downside today on this move in crude oil. Again, off the lows, but still 2.5% for crude to the downside. AT&T here, 7.8% to the downside on that earnings report miss. Wasn't really doing anything in the pre-market after the earnings. LUMN 6% as well in the communication services group, but Netflix helping to offset. EA with a big day as well. It did come down a bit, but a big pop. There's Nucor, NUE up nicely today after earnings this morning. The cruise lines still dragging on the entire market, 11% to the downside for CCL, RCL, NCLH, 9.5%. through 11.5% in the red today off that $1 billion offering from CCL. Here's the healthcare names. DHR reported 8.8%, BIO up 7.3%. All of them, though, having a really nice session, including tech as well in positive territory. EPAM, ACAM, FTNT, and INTU. Doing what they do, at least for this week anyways. It's been a very positive week, obviously, for tech stocks. Hope your afternoon is shaping up to be a good one. We had a ton of opportunity. Market with big moves down and then right back up through to positive territory this morning. It's been, as I said, a bit of a choppy session throughout the midday here. Hopefully we get a little more movement, a little more directional movement anyways in the market to help us out here into the close. 2 hours to go. Let's kick things off with a look at what was available if you were with us this morning. I don't know where you are. If you're not, make sure you're here every day at 8:30 Eastern. We get you set for the open at 9:30. Neil's going to take you through one of his trades to kick things off today.
Welcome. Trade Today, we're going to talk about Tesla here today. And oddly enough, if you watched the morning show, it felt like a little bit of a nothing burger initially. Tesla very mixed off of the open. Even in the aftermarket, they beat on the top line. There were some issues with revenue and then a bit of a mixed board when you talked about the earnings call. So there wasn't a heck of a lot to look at. I know Sean and myself both sat out most of the morning. And as a matter of fact, despite what you're going to see in this chart here today, which is longs in the second part of the session, all I was saying in the morning show was, I want to short the 800 level. I don't see anything until we get to 800. I want to short 800. And it feels like we're going to get to 800. I kept saying it over and over again. And I was asked on the show, if you're so convinced it's going to get to 800, why don't you just long? And at the time, it was about 789, 790. I'm going to get into why I wasn't thinking about that. Now, why does 800 matter? And we're always going to go to the higher time frame. If you have a quick look at what Tesla's doing on the daily chart, made a nice bottom here off 600, but it's been in this channel below $800 for a while now. We've been struggling to get out of here. You can see the resistance has been sort of a little bit lower highs. We finally climbed above that 750 on the earnings play. And then you get that 800 line, which has just been huge resistance. That's why it mattered so much. Now we get to what was going on here. And it was right about this time that someone was saying to me, why don't you just go long into the 800 level? And what I simply said was, it's one thing to think the stock is going to get to a price, but what's the structure of the long trade am I going to make there? And all I was thinking about was, if my support is probably back into a 75 or an 80 level, am I going to punch long at an 89? Thinking that at the time I was expecting to be short at 99 and thinking a $5 retracement's coming in. So that's not even 1-to-1 risk to reward. Doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense to put it on. So it's one thing to think you're getting to a price. It's another thing to execute. However, once we got to this level, you get to 790 and there's your pullback that was at $15 and that was that range. But when it actually gets when it actually gets to the 800 level, get into how ridiculous this was in terms of a consolidation. When we retested this high here, what I said in the second part of my answer was the breakout style trade gives you a reasonable risk. You can risk back to 90s. You can risk back to 89, that consolidation level. So I end up taking the breakout style trade. This is more reasonable because I'm really only risking about $1 or $2. I play that into 95s. It then tries to retest and dip. Well, guess what? It does not break back below that 789 area. We're able to hold that. So I'm reloading that trade with, again, tight risk because I think at this point it's going to pull back at 800. I scalp it in front of 95, got trailed out there, and at this point, I'm sitting on the offer at $799.50 for a good 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And the longer it consolidates without breaking 99, I'm talking 98s, there were sellers galore. It got very, very crowded. You're just constantly seeing size pile in on the offer, on the offer, on the offer, getting filled. But it won't break 99 to give you that really tight stop short trade. The longer that happened, I was sitting there saying, you can't take this short because if you now get it at like 99.50 or 99.70, forget about it. By that point, everyone is loaded in at 98, and if you take that fill, you're just going to get run over. That's what that's why I decided I need to cancel that order and accept the fact that this was just a jailbreak long. So we had one long trade with a simple structure, and then it turned into an 800 break. Now, I got scaled out of this trade, so I got trailed out of this trade at 805. I should have held on to it. But what I'm going to give you here is Sean had the break from 800 and actually held it to 815. So if you look at the breadth of this move, after you miss out in the open, we talked about how we did miss on Tesla this morning. The breadth of this move, once it got to the second portion of the day, was this 790 area into 815. And that consisted of the morning range breakout, the consolidation, and then the break to that 800 level, and then a break of 800 till it gets to 815. Those are two trades to the long side that you could have had in there without being a part of the early morning move. Without question, long at the open was the way to go in Tesla. But you've got to ask yourself, once you've missed out on a trade, can you structure something else? In this case, we're able to structure a couple of trades to the upside, and they gave you a boomer here. Tesla, one of the strongest movers in the entire market today. You had to find a way to take advantage of it. I'm just happy I didn't short it. Today's trade of the day brought to you, as always, by Day Trade the World. You want to day trade like this with these executions, good place to start.
Got to go where the action is. Today it was all about Tesla. Top of the watch list this morning was Tesla following earnings, even though, it wasn't a overly exciting earnings report for Tesla. But once it gets going, it's the type of stock that can put in moves like this. Just absolutely amazing to the upside. Grab the watch list. We send it out every day, guys, before we come on at 8:30 for free. Let's make it a seventh straight here for Tesla. On track anyways for a seventh straight day in a row to the upside. The report itself, as we said in the pre-market, I mean, there was, they beat on EPS. The revenue was a mess. It wasn't overly exciting. But once they take hold of Tesla shares, there's no stopping this thing.
Yeah, no, really no stopping anything here today. It's been a freight train to the upside for a little while, man. I mean, we've been turned that bull around a little while ago there. Well, turned the bear into a bull not too long ago. And yeah, today Tesla just an absolute monster to that upside. I mean, we only hit it one time here. Like Neil mentioned, we waited for 800 right there. So 800 long, out 812 flat there. And just a monster move. We should have, I was debating holding this, probably should have done that. But it was looking okay when we were testing this 808 bottom. But you could see the 50 period straight to the upside. We talked about that earlier. There's the long right there, 800 up to 811, 812. That's the one trade that I had, and then I was done with it. So, needless to say, Tesla's an absolute rocket here. I did get out of 20% of my long-term position as well today, just because I want to take advantage of this move up. And not that I don't think the Tesla trade is done. I think we can go even a lot higher. I don't see why we don't even test this 200 period at $900. So I'm still very, very much a bull here for Tesla, but I think it's a little foolish if you are sitting in this trade, especially from earlier on. Look, if it's a day trade like Neil and I are doing, then I mean, I didn't want to scalp it out. I took the whole thing out there for that $11 winner there. But you know, I think today you might want to just take advantage of this. You can ride the momentum all the way to the upside and maybe hold until the close. But if you're looking long term and, you know, you're just wondering, like, the move that we've had up in the NASDAQ the last couple weeks, or actually last couple weeks, what am I even talking about? The last 4 days has been a nice one. And I think it's worth taking advantage of some of these names, getting out on the high side here for, you know, a Tesla. You know, Microsoft's been ripping up. I mean, Apple, we're long Apple right now, $1.80 in the money on Apple. Look at this move, just from 143 up to 153 right now, 155, sorry. So, you know, there's been a lot of opportunities to trade throughout this market, but I mean, just look at what the triple Qs have done in, like I was saying, the last 4 or 5 days. This is probably the longest and most, you know, exuberant winning streak we've had in a bit. We had a nice little pullback here, and look at the areas we came right into, right? The NASDAQ right now, we can see where the NASDAQ's at, 12,600. The ES is almost at 4,000. So the last time we were up here, and this is the NASDAQ, of course, but I just mentioned the ES. Last time we were up here, and we can look at the SPY if we want to do that as well. We pulled back, right? And so I just feel like obviously NASDAQ's going to come with some big earnings next week with Google, Meta, Amazon, Apple, all going to come out next week. So if there is any disappointment, you know, how much further do we have to that upside before we run into some possible resistance again? So this spider's at 397. You give it 10 or 12 bucks to the upside, and you're right back into 4,000 again for the S&P 500. So for me, I just think it was well worth taking a little bit off. But Tesla, wow, what an absolute beast. I mean, we're still long Rivian and we're still long Apple. Just want to take some off on Tesla, as right now it's taking out the high of the day once again, man. Tesla just keeps on chugging through. That 760 break, like Neil mentioned there, was very, very cash money. But you got to have that crystal ball. Like I don't know if that's going to happen today. Tesla came out with a kind of a subpar performance there yesterday once the market went up, and then just barcoded. And since the traders got a hold of this thing, it's been nothing but love. I wish we still had this $18 winner on for Tesla. We'll take 12. We'll be happy with it. But yeah, definitely a big, huge move for Tesla. And I'm just going to say this is Bitcoin. And I know they sold some of their Bitcoin, which is probably why it's going down. But we'll say congratulations to anybody long Tesla today.
I mean, it's one of the most unbelievable moves every single time Tesla goes up, because it's the way that it buys. Like it's the nature of which, when you're watching the tape, it's just relentless, right? And that's what you get. It looks like a meme stock when it goes up in days like today, and that's one of the things you've just got to realize and step away from it. And don't get me wrong, like I wasn't hooting and hollering, but I was saying quite often and early and often that 800 was a short. You know, and it's just at some point, like, you've got to be able to reevaluate, right? I was on the offer, like I said, for almost, it might have been, maybe it wasn't 10 minutes, but it felt like it was a really long time. I was sitting on the offer, willing to take that short, and it just never made any sense. I'm actually kicking myself as we're doing the trade of the day, because you could have just taken the break of the high just now when we're up there and just scout that trade out. Like, it's just giving you $2 or $3. I guarantee you someone around here in the back just did that. As I look at this fly landing on my screen, I'm going to get you, sucker. But look, Tesla, absolute monster for the long side of the trade. I wish there was like a little dip in the market at these highs in the ES and the NASDAQ that got me out of any longs I had. So all I'm holding on to are those two things I think are dogs that worked. And we'll get into one of those. And then we'll actually get into another one that I never traded today, which is crazy. I came in thinking I was going to trade CCL, and it never happened.
Touch on CCL, guys, just confirming someone else who is a very big Tesla fan, and I'm sure was all over this trade today. Danielle Shay coming up here in, half an hour or so. We'll talk to her about how she approached this from an option standpoint, and then obviously have a chat about what is to come next week, because obviously a huge week coming up for earnings next week. So lots of ideas to come from Ms. Shay as well. Yeah, CCL dragged, we saw on the board there, dragged the whole cruise line, some of the travel names anyways, to the downside this morning with this $1 billion offering, stock offering. It kind of came out of nowhere. No one really had any kind of inclinations of this, but pretty negative for these today.
All right, yeah, so we had, what's up, guys? We had the cruise lines this morning. It was all over the sticky note as well, and all over our watch list, so thank you so much for continuing to check all of those out. But we got out of the way here. I mean, it's honestly, It's not trading the way I thought it would, and if it was, I'd still be short, and I'm not. So I'm completely flat on this one. It was a really good trade for us. We reloaded it a bunch of times here at 75 before eventually it broke. So we were just sort of playing, like, I wanted a higher, like, you know, if this had ripped off early, then I would have been like, okay, you know, let's take this on that move, right? But it just never really happened. It didn't get to the upside, so we were just forced to sort of short in here, which is these pre-markets. Maybe if I zoom in a little bit better, it'll be a little more obvious right there. But this is the pre-market high rate here. So we started off our day with a quick short there, averaged into it against the 75 or against the 80, I guess it was. All these are 75s. And then look, like, I wish that we would have been able to take more profit on this name, but there's nothing I can do about it. I was hoping that it would come back down. Every time it failed, we got out in the low 60s, so that was good until eventually it broke, and we actually got too many shares, so it breaks 80s there off that 75, but we didn't have much left, man. I mean, look at it, just absorb this. So you could see there's a take, and then look how many outs we have. We have like, I don't know, 10 or so out. So we left 10% on, it breaks higher, and we are now out of CCL. It's not really reacting properly today. I mean, obviously, on that kind of an offering, you know, thought that it would have been a little more aggressive to the upside, but that's clearly not happening right now. So Amazon, I was just looking at the Amazon position. We're short now at 124, but there's CCL right there. You know, was hoping, and I still think that you could probably fade this move up to $11 again, but for right now, you're down at 10. So I'm going to have to wait for CCL to get some better prices. Remember, I mean, I don't know, I don't even have the, oh, yeah, I do. I was going to say, I thought I closed the flow checker. I was checking Beyond Meat, by the way. Beyond Meat's been a nice little stock over the last little while. CCL, let's just see what the short, whoops. Oh, it worked anyways, okay. CCL shorts, not too bad, right? 16, 17, 13% there on the short side for CCL, so that might not be a reason to get it going, but I am always scared that, you know, some great news comes up and this thing runs higher. So I actually like the long down here if this gets back into $8, kind of like Gap down where we called the Gap $8 bottom. For GPS, that's up over $10, right? Or it was anyways, near that $10 mark. I like CCL down here, but it's got to get down there first. So a little disappointed. That's probably why Neil wasn't in it today either. It didn't give, or I don't think you were, right? It didn't give us the right price levels, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to fade $10, and the only time I would have done that would have been, you know, at 1 o'clock when the market was in a very, very different place. I mean, at the open, like, it was all shorts that were basically working out like right away, and then you snap back to the upside. So that was a much different scenario under which I was watching this thing, and so I didn't take the short off of 10. Like, I'd be in a 990 short if that were the case, but I just didn't do it. The only thing I can say about this, if you actually do the math on the size of the float and then the size of the offering and the 150 million that I think are still eligible in the next couple of months that the underwriter could still take, it pretty much had put in that retracement. Like, that 12% was essentially baked in. So fundamentally, if it was going to bounce, it kind of made sense that you got the one flush and then everything was priced in, and then it's sort of back to being strong because it had been strong the last few weeks. So I was more involved in the airline side. I know we're going to talk about that. But CCL, I think $10 might be a thing. Like, maybe we get a push to $10. There's a bunch of size there, and I'm short 995 or something here today. I guess that's certainly possible. If we get up to 10, we'll make that call if there's anything on the offer.
Yep.
Yeah, the other major storyline this morning, as far as the travel names were concerned, the airlines, AAL, UAL, both reporting both to the downside, missing expectations. AAL, worse off, has never really caught a bid today. It's just grinding along day lows currently. So UAL as well to the downside. If it was anything other than LVS, travel names not really having the greatest day.
Nope. That's a big nope. Now, they were all pretty bad. And one of the reasons I'm still in UAL is the market's at highs and the stock is at its lows, which usually to me says, well, if we get a pullback and don't break out through the high, then this stock should continue back and make some fresh lows, even though it hit the target and has now surpassed the target that we had this morning. And that's just the theory. Now, I liked a certain channel. I'll go to the 15-minute to show you guys. You know, once it gapped down below, it showed you the levels I wanted, which was about this 39.50 up at the top, and then entries right around this 38.85. So that's the channel I wanted to be taking short positions in at the open, giving it to that 39.5. And then I just looked back to I always usually take out these wipeout bottoms and say, okay, well, if it was a breakout back here at 37.25, and then you had that wipeout bottom that got rejected early in the morning, then the support came right back in at 37.25. So to me, it's like 37.25. That's the area that I think we're getting out in front of. So I did do that. I was getting out all in front of that. And the market just climbed higher, and this just did not want to break and hold above 38. So I'm hanging on to it. I do have, I'm going to have a trail on this pretty much the entire afternoon, because if we just take out this double top in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ takes out this triple top right now, I mean, at some point, this is going to get dragged along with it, right? So if that happens, I'm not going to give it all back, but there's no reason to be out of this trade at this point. The airlines just got absolutely dogged. This one set up a little bit better, UAL, because of the levels that it had going for it.
Yeah, I didn't look at anything airlines. You mentioned that the only one that might have been successful was LVS, and of course, that's just a casino, but obviously benefiting from better numbers in Singapore there, as they mentioned before. And then we have Wynn we like to look at as well for those. So we can take a quick look at Wynn. With Macau trying to open back up, or not trying, but hopefully back open now is what they've told us anyways. So Wynn did get a little bit of a bump off that bottom in the last week or so. So that's a nice little move back to the upside there. We were really liking Wynn before around that $80 mark, before it eventually broke back down. So that happened not too long ago. That happened I guess back in March there, where we dipped down into the $70 mark, but it was really 70. That was the spot that I was like, impressed that it didn't hold, to be honest with you, that $70 mark. And now Wynn's getting back up there. So I think you could buy this name. But again, the casinos continue to be a very, very difficult trade, because we keep going back and forth with travel. Like, what's it like to travel? Is it hard to travel? What are the restrictions that are beginning to come through? And we know that the United States appears to be, well past COVID as far as some of their policies are concerned. But we do know that there's that overhang there with Europe. I mean, that dollar is getting destroyed. We know about that. So it's like, if you are in Europe, are you really traveling outside right now? Because you got to be really upset. Like, you're planning a trip to Canada, your dollar used to be worth 1.5, or just even to the US, now it's worth 1.01, or it's back down to par again. So, it's just, that's affecting travel. So when you're thinking about a weak US or a strong US dollar, it's great for people that hold US dollars, but not great for others. So I feel like the travel to some of these casinos getting hit a little bit just because of that reason, again, the US dollar, and then repatriating money back through. So if you're doing a lot of your business in Macau, that's not going to be a US dollar transaction. So it is going to affect you net when you look at it like that. But yeah, hey, look, man, it's been an exciting time to trade some of these casino names. MGM's been a good one as well, and Caesars. So LVS, MGM, Caesars, all in there. And then DraftKings. I mean, DraftKings has been going off as well, Brendo.
Yeah, I was noticing the euro actually made another move to the downside late this afternoon. Italy officially calling a election for September after that Draghi announcement yesterday. I was going to mention this. We'll talk about some of the tech names, but DWAC just popping up again, back above 33 on volume there. This started going today when it came out that Biden had COVID. President Biden actually tweeting with a picture saying that he's doing great, mild symptoms, no big deal. He's still working up a storm, I guess. But yeah, guys, DWAC up 10%.
Working up a storm?
Working up a storm. Okay. Hindsight is 20/20, always. But when that news dropped, DWAC made a move to the upside. It then pulled right back in. And anytime you see like any kind of news-based move or flash news, whatever happens, like that kind of a catalyst that kind of comes out of nowhere in the middle of the day, the question always becomes, when it retreats to the price that it's at, or like do the buyers come back into it? And usually when they do, you're going to get a retest of that high. That's exactly what happened here. And like I said, hindsight is 20/20. I'm not in the long on DWAC, but that felt like all you had to do was, I made that trade before. You see me make that trade, win, lose in the afternoon show. 31.25 was just sitting there for you. And then you're maybe risking back to the 50s, and now it's back to the high. That's a decently structured long that I'm kind of kicking myself over that I didn't at least take a shot at. But now it's off to the races, up 10%. I tend to think, and don't at me or anything, this turns into a fade on a move like this, because if the catalyst is that simple, that's not a fundamental reason for DWAC, the SPAC, which may not go through or not, to to sustain a move to the upside, right? Like you get to 50, you get previous resistance up here like 35, 36. We start spiking that much, and I'm thinking fade all day for something like a DWAC. And just out of the corner of my eye, because it's going to be difficult to get away from how strong Tesla is. I know we keep talking about it, but it just feels like you have an 819.82 top. And every single consolidation break has paid you. Now, how much it's paid you, if you take the scalp trade, $1 or $2, sometimes a bit more than that. But on the follow through, it's also paid you, has been pretty good. At some point, you think it's going to turn around, but 820 to 825 is in play. It is just chewing through levels. And trust me when I tell you, when it gets to these levels, Tesla has like 100 share lots up and down on your time and sales. Like that's all you're going to be looking at for Tesla. But when it gets up to these price levels, lo and behold, all of a sudden there is size just jumping in front of these shorts. Like every time it gets to one of these levels, there are people shorting it or they're taking profit. But either way, there are sellers that actually throw in more than a few hundred lots up here, and they're taking it like 19.5. And the same way it was going at 790 it was the same thing, at 800 it was the same thing, at 810, at 815, now at 820, and when it gets to 825, it'll be the exact same thing. And that's why these breakout trades work, because everyone has the same stop. They just stop it out at the even and taking enough size that if you get the long off that break, it's almost free money because the bigger size punching out, that's your win right there. Like that's your alpha. So I mean, Tesla just bears watching when it does this. It's gold for day traders. I mean, it's just when you get a move like this, you just participate and reap the rewards.
Hey, Tesla's #1 stock today for me, profit-wise, and it made one trade. So that should tell you everything you need to know about that one as well. Coming right behind, though, Apple right now, $1.80 in the money on this Apple trade. And if it breaks down right now through this 50 period, which is going to be 19s or 20s, we're going to get out of the way here for Apple. So if Apple wants to break down lower, we're going to get out of the way now and let it just do that as the market might be top right now. We are on Rivian as well. That could be the same kind of a break right now at 33. I mean, I'm just going to take, look, if these all go the other way and I get out at these bottoms and then it rips up, fine. That is completely fine by me. I mean, this is already a 70-cent win. Rivian's been real sweet today, man. Boom, boom. This could have been a trade of the day as well if Tesla wasn't so hot on the socials. But Rivian right now trying to break a little bit lower. So a breakdown, let's just put the stop order in of 33.74. We'll get out of that one if it gets breakdown below. Again, it's the 50 period. We've tested it again. It's just I look at this market and it's like... This happens to us. I mean, if you're joining us now for the first time, welcome. But I really feel like every day at this time, I'm almost saying the same stupid thing. I mean, yesterday, and it's not stupid. It's just like this market, how high can we go here? Are we going to retest highs again on this market? And I'm a huge bull. You guys know that. And it doesn't matter. My trading doesn't really matter. I'm just very bullish on the market in general. Normally, we did get out of some of our Tesla. I told you I sold 20% today out of some Tesla there, put some profit because we still have Fed to come. They're still hiking a point next week, right? Or in a week and a half or whenever the day is. They're hiking again. CPI, we probably got top print on that, but I don't know if we did or not. How are rents doing right now? Rents still rocking. Like that's going to be a huge piece of the CPI puzzle. And then you're going to have the dollar. We've already talked about that for big tech. So let's take some off on these names here, and hopefully we're wrong, and it continues to go up as I am still very overweight in the tech sector. Nothing wrong with taking some off. And then I know that you are looking at Netflix as well, but I have the same kind of opinion on Netflix because I was just looking and we're long at 178 it was, well, not 172. And that's a nice move back up to the upside for Netflix. So did not pair any off here, thinking that we could go and get some of this out. I actually really like the Netflix story, to be honest with you. I think that ad-based revenue is going to be huge for them. And if they just get that figured out, they're now testing in Latin America the ad-supported streaming. So if that can work out, then I think it does open up a huge window for many more subscribers. And it's not going to be free. It'll be like a lower tiered price, I guess. I shouldn't say it's not going to be free. I don't know that to be true or not. But Netflix now coming through with that system, and I just want to see where they go. I almost want to give this one more quarter. I know that sounds silly, like one quarter is not that far away, but let's just see where they can get going on this one. I still do like Netflix here at 222. I don't know for a day trade. I mean, it's already going to the upside and still breaking more and more levels. You have that 226 that we kind of touched there on the earnings play, but I don't know. I don't think we get it there. Look at this consolidation, though. I cannot believe that we were long down here at 200 yesterday. That was a good trade, but yeah, tricky one yesterday on that earnings report for Netflix. So yeah, let's keep going, man. It's been a very, very good day for us, and I hope it's been equally as good for you guys.
Exactly. Actually, I was having a conversation with, I think it was Frank in the chat saying, I always talk about like reversing and, you know, if you have a good price area that you like and it breaks that and stops you out, it's good for reverse. And he mentioned on Rivian, like Sean, you were saying maybe you're considering getting out.
Yeah.
And my point would be like, I don't know that that's a reverse into a short at that price because the breakout, if you look at what we're doing here, it's still above the breakout price. On the higher time frame, the 33.5, right? So you're consolidating above. So I can understand why you're taking profits on a long if you break down from here, but above 33.50, it's hard for me to like the short unless you're getting it off the high of the day from a risk to reward standpoint. But that's just myself. I just reloaded on BOBA, by the way, until that breaks 104.5. It's like I might be saying this every single day this week, and I know it sounds like a broken record, but when the market rejects the top, and BOBA is flat on the day, and I should be showing you the chart when I say this. Sorry, guys. And when Alibaba is rejecting the top, I stopped out 105. I stopped out 105.50 on shorts, and then did not get the 107 because it didn't quite get there. But it's holding near the lows when the market's going higher. So I'm going to short the bottom end of the range, just like I've been doing almost every single day. It's done something like this. Was successful every time it's had that type of a pattern. It's a little bit more of a consolidation this time, so it's a little bit stronger than what we've seen in the past. But until it breaks out, I'm going to stick with it, Brendan.
On Rivian, guys, the CEO making some comments in an interview. This was this morning, if you remember, we got that comment from Amazon saying they're going to roll out electric vehicles in 100 electric delivery vehicles in 100 cities by the end of this year. Rivian CEO just saying they're working as hard as they can to get 10,000 vans to Amazon by the end of the year.
Wow, Rivian. Yeah, so more news there, kind of like tongue-in-cheek there about the wowness. Yeah, look, I like Rivian. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, we've talked about having that sort of white knight behind you with Amazon. So I mentioned that this morning, then all of a sudden all this Amazon news comes out today. So that was kind of lucky on that. But I just think it's breaking higher right now, so we're in that long, right? I mean, I actually, like a thief in the night, except for it was in broad daylight. We came in here and just took that trade once we saw that news about the Amazon and the Rivian this morning. And then also it did break above that 33.50, that we had talked about. So I hit that 20, 40, 60, 80% out there, and then we reloaded it. And then again, the same thing. So we do have a small piece on right now of Rivian, about that 20%, but it's looking like it wants to break. So as soon as it does break to the downside, which by the way, Apple broke to the downside on that move down. So unfortunately, we are out of our Apple trade, which is a big trade for me. I'm pretty happy with it. So no doubt about that. But still, at the same time, we are now out of that Apple trade. And I just like Rivian to break higher. I mean, as long as this Amazon's here, I like it. I think if you're looking at that daily chart and you're thinking about where can I invest, maybe back down here. I just, you know what? To give up $5 now isn't the end of the world, but I still think that there's a little more pain coming to this market. And again, a company that's not making money, has issues with production side of things. Obviously, with some of these notes that Brendan's coming out with, they're taking care of some of that production, but 10,000 vehicles, I mean, Tesla's expected delivery they just did, 900,000? So you're going to have to watch out for that. It's not a big, huge piece of the EV market yet, but like I said, Amazon, not too far behind, and when you have those guys around, you're a couple news releases away. We saw that one OEM there. I haven't even traded it today. 1M, 63 million shares. Amazon stepping up and getting into this business, so you're seeing them up 68% here today, and then their brethren, their TDOC, not having a very nice day on the Dow. Well, actually, it's recovered.
Think they're friends.
No, they're not friends anymore. TDOC actually recovered today. They were down quite big there off the open, and a nice little recovery. Remember I was talking about, where's my minute? There it is. Yeah, wow. So there's Teladoc on the resumption trade once that got back going down there at $39. And I guess Kathy Wood was like, nah, it's too big of a holding. We got to buy this thing back up to 43 again. So yeah, Teladoc. And I guess it kind of swings both ways there, right? It's like Amazon comes in, takes down one of your competitors. So what that essentially does is it gives you two things. The first thing is maybe if they're going to pay a 70% premium or even more than that, it's up 70% today. They're paying 18 cash. So they're going to pay like 75, 80% premium for one of your competitors, then hey, maybe if there is another buyer out there, then you deserve a very similar bump to that as well. So we'll wait to see on Teladoc, but you know, that name nicely battled back here. If you were looking for a short, that Teladoc around that 44 looks pretty juicy. So hey, that's what that is, and 1M there, a great trade today if you're looking at that name.
Having a solid risk plan, regardless of what your time frame is when you're in the market, is so important. Understanding that a recession and a negative bear market is going to increase volatility requires maybe a revisit of your risk plan. Guys, let's talk a little bit about 3 ways or 3 tips we'll give you here in this video on how you can control your risk even in these volatile markets.
So my tip is going to be about the most simple tip ever. And it's one thing I talked about today when going over actually the Tesla trade that I know almost everybody was in. And that is simply start from a standpoint of where is my out when I'm trying to structure a trade. When you have increased volatility, it's not necessarily about getting the direction correct. It's being able to accept where I'm going to be wrong and being able to limit the downside in the trade. Because there's lots of ways that you could have won in some shorts today. Let's put it this way. Like, you could have won in some shorts today, but you had to have a sound understanding of what you were going to do if it went wrong. Like, if you had a 780, like, oh, I like shorting 780, but I'm only willing to risk a couple of dollars on it. So you're not shorting 765 with a 780 stop. That 780 would be correct, but it never gave you a chance to work. And so if you understand that I am wrong on this stock if it gets to 780, and then you can structure your trade from that standpoint. And I think this is one thing that I talked about even when I was looking for long opportunities in the stock. I started from, well, where are my outs going to be? And if when I wanted the long, my outs had to be in the mid-80s, then I had to structure the trade accordingly. And I think it's one of those situations where if you're taking that, it's a breakout style trade. When I was telling myself you're not wrong till 778, then I needed to be long in the 780 range. So start with where am I wrong first. That allows you to ask yourself, how much am I going to risk in the trade so that I can control my losses? Because you can have a good trending move, but if you can't get into a trade that you are able to hold for the winner, then everything is moot. And the more volatile the market gets, sometimes it's about understanding the risk structure so that you can be in the trade when it's a winner. It doesn't matter if you liked it long. If you got wiped out because you misjudged your risk, then everything is completely a moot point. Calling the direction is not good enough. You have to be able to execute the trade. And that means determining where you are wrong first, then taking the trade and structuring everything else from there.
Booyah, we love structured trades around here for sure. So that's a great tip there. When you're in these volatile markets, have a structured plan before you even enter it. Look, mine is going to be familiarity. Yes, I said it right. I didn't want to have to retake that one. And what I mean by that is be familiar with the stocks that you're trading in these environments, right? Because you don't want to go over to a brand new name. Like if it's a volatile market and maybe you've never traded Netflix before, or you've never traded Apple before, or Microsoft, or it doesn't matter the name, Nucor today on earnings, something like that. If you're not familiar with the stocks that you're trading, then how could you possibly judge the risk that's associated with them, right? So I'm just gonna go over a couple names here just to show you what I always do, man. I mean, Apple, we're in it today. Look at this nice winner. That's a $2 winner. We're very, very familiar with it. And it doesn't even matter. I'm up on Amazon, but look at all the trades we've had today. These are all shorts, right? Into a ripping market. So you got to be able to pick your spots and understand the way that you're going. This has nothing to do with what Neil was saying, structure your trade. It's like trade the names that you're familiar with, and then the structure will be a little bit easier for you. I've watched Amazon since the split, understand some of the moves, understand where the risks are, right? I mean, that's something else. I haven't traded Google today, but for example, here's another one. I rarely trade Tesla. Okay, so today, why don't you see like so many ins and outs? Tesla today, 40 million shares. It's reported, it's great. I guarantee you when Apple reports or Microsoft or Meta or any of those names report, I'm gonna have more. And look, this is an $11 winner. It's all good. But the point is that I don't really trade Tesla. So I'm not familiar with the scalping or anything like that. So to me, the question is how do you control, the risk and whatnot in volatile markets? To me, it's trade names that you're familiar with. Don't be afraid to go over where the action is, okay? But put a lot of the risk and stay in your lane. That's my tip.
Point, when you look at the same thing on a daily basis over and over and over again, familiarity, Sean, I love that word. I'm going to show you an indicator, actually, that can help in these markets as well. And that's at the bottom of this screen. That's average true range, or ATR, if you're seeing that for the first time. This is just the SPY. The stock doesn't matter. You can throw anything up here, but I want to draw your attention to the beginning of this year, because all that has happened since the beginning of this year is the average true range of the SPY, in this case, has done nothing but go straight to the upside. Yes, we're coming off a little bit now, but if you're used to trading a stock that trades in a $3 to $4 range, and you come and look at it for the first time, possibly when it's trading in a $10 range, your risk is obviously going to need to be adjusted accordingly. So an easy way to get a visual, very quick visual representation of what can be expected in the day's range on the stock that you are looking at, and then you can judge your size and risk accordingly. There's 3 great tips, guys, on how to control risk in these crazy volatile markets. Quick note on Tilray, just popped up. On volume, there was a tweet suggesting that this cannabis bill that's being worked on in the Senate right now is to be on its way to the president's desk, guys. So some of the cannabis names just popped up.
Now it's going to have to wait till he gets better, obviously. But I feel like every single day there's been, like, they pop up and then there's just like a shorting opportunity that I don't even take, which is killing me. I actually wanted to add something, and I guess it won't make it into the video.
Yeah.
I know, but on Sean's point, because when you talk about the familiarity thing, there's so many nuances about a stock that if you trade every single day, you'll understand. And today, I got a reversal long on Netflix at 220 and got filled, like the long on a 220 break at 220.30. Like that was actually, I was like, what the hell? That was a horrible price I just got. However, the more you trade a stock, the more comfortable you're going to be understanding what the spread is like, what kind of slippage to expect if it hits your stop. It's like you're going to get 10 cents slipped, you're going to get 25. Like that matters for your risk, because you could be short like 20 cents in front of a level and thinking 10 cents slippage. Well, 30 cents, if you get 20 or 30 cents slippage, that's like 30 to 40% extra risk on your trade. So that familiarity matters. How to take profit. Like when it bounces off a key price, is it going 20 cents? Is it going 40 cents? Where should I take my profit? Does it respect the first consolidation area? All of these things matter. And it's you understand it intuitively when you watch a stock every day, but you might not actually like quantify that and say, oh, I'm gaining this knowledge. I get it. It's just all intuitive for you. So it's just another point for the whole familiarity thing. I want to jump to EVTL for a quick second here. I don't think there's actually any, according to Brennan, there wasn't anything new on this today, but EVTL making another one of its power moves. I'll just quickly show like the last couple of days. It had been consolidating and you had a big breakout. Since failed at $9 and failed rather heavily. However, if I look at what's been going on here right around that last breakout on volume, this is 760. This is the failure and holding support at 760. Yeah, the longer this holds 750, I mean, the better the risk to reward is going to end up being. I'd love to see it above VWAP here, but at some point, if it doesn't break 750, there's only one place for it to go. Now, 750 for me would be that line in the sand, but this is now on my watch for the afternoon here as a potential late day runner. EVTL, no news catalyst that I'm aware of though.
What's up to Joker? What's up to Maz Markets? What's up to Lone Sophos and everything in that? Yeah, puff, puff, pass. There on the weed names here. It's been a good day for those names. Actually, it hasn't been a good day. They're down 10% there. And I was going to say, like, I said yesterday to try to sell some of those names. And unfortunately, I just don't like to trade them, to be honest with you. So that's why I stay away. But yeah, weed names back into play one more time. Well, I wanted to add one more thing to that talk there that we had about the three things. I actually have a fourth one, and I think that it's going to be, and it's not really, doesn't fit exactly, but I wanted to say like ego, because like I really feel that if you're not, if you're stubborn, and maybe stubborn's a better word than ego or anything like that, but if you're stubborn when this market is making these moves, and you're always right and the market's always wrong, and that's the kind of ego talk that I'm thinking here, you're going to get burned, man. You're going to get absolutely roasted, and the market's very, very humbling experience. So that's the one thing there that, wow, what just happened right there? A move to the downside right here. So we just got a nice move to the NASDAQ there. So I want to go over to Microsoft, but that was the one thing that I just wanted to mention to you guys, is that you got to be very, very careful about that kind of stuff. Is that you're not always going to be right, and the market's not always going to be wrong. So just watch out for that. Like just right there. I mean, we want to talk about volatility. Like we were cruising with Rivian, and then all of a sudden, bang, just hit it to the downside. So we stay disciplined, get out, and then we'll do this because the red markets may be coming through, but guess what? We're fine. We don't have any more longs because everything was executed out for us, right? Our Apple trade got out when we broke that level of 155.25. So I don't have to sit here and be like, oh, like we've been crushing Apple, which we have been. We're up on Apple today, and it's been a great, obviously, it's one trade here on that break of 155.50. We took the most of them out at 154, which is hindsight ridiculous, but there's the last 20% there out at 155.20. So it can be very humbling, this market, and just stay true to what you do. And we're going to have Danielle Shay coming up hopefully very soon. And I mean, that's the whole thing about the options play and things like that, right? Is that, you're right until you're wrong. I mean, options can go down to absolutely zero value. So you got to be humble, take the profits when you see them there, and just stick to what you do best. And I think that that's one thing that hopefully Neil and I have been able to show you, that we're able to do that, and that is stay disciplined, stay humble, make sure that you put your trades in your pocket when the winners are there, and that's how you get on these little streaks that we have.
Also worth noting, it's weird that it just happened, because every time we talk about cannabis, we say the same things, and I always pull up Sundial. It's like the same broken record, but it just had a volume spike that got faded again. Like, this is what we're talking about. Every single move up has just been like break at the high of the day, faded. A break to the open, faded. A break down, easy short, then resistance where it broke at 34. A spike up in volume, instantly faded once you're at the end of the first candle on the 3-minute. Like that. When we talk about like strength or weakness, like strength is sometimes obvious because we can it's maybe easier to spot like a Tesla, but weakness there as well on something like a Sundial. Alibaba, which I'm still in, when the market just there, and I think Sean just said, hey, woo, the market just came down a little bit. That happened, and Bob didn't go anywhere, but it's still holding off that 104.50. I actually added to the position as the market looked like it wanted to fade a bit, but there was one other stock that was at a top, or at least close enough to a top, that I wanted to sort of get to, and it wasn't Rivian. Well, sure, I guess it's not close to the top. And I didn't mean Lee, I mean Lucid. And Rivian was sort of pulling back, and Sean was talking about that one. I had this breakout on Lucid after the Rivian news that I got out of way too early, obviously. I took it all out pretty much when I put in this capitulation. Like this candle here got me out, and I should have been taking some for the 75. So I ended up really not making much of anything on Lucid. However, it's trying to break back below that 2140 price. So this has been on a bit of a charge, but it has not really extended past this key break price, about 21.25. Like you just haven't seen it go very far. And I think when I see that, the first thing that comes to my mind is you're kind of failing this break, and you're not finding the momentum. So if the market were to make a big leg down, suddenly Lucid to me becomes something pretty shortable if it gets below this 2135 or so. It's just, there's been a lack of extension despite the strength that it's had. And it's only up like 0.75%. It's not like it's screaming to the upside. So this market does fail at these highs. Lucid is on my radar, to be sure.
All right, so we are going to have a new position right now. We'll hit that alert, because it was basically a break here of Microsoft breaking below that 50 period and then trying to take down some of these lows of 30s. We're in that 44, 44, so 263.44 right now on the short here for Softy. So we'll see what this wants to do now. I'm going to average it into 80s, up into the 80s as we go here on that move down from the market. We're below the 50 period right here. It's been a nice little day to the upside, and I know Tesla's doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this market, so I don't want to pretend like to ignore Tesla here or anything like that, but it did pull back a little bit in that move. I mean, it went down to what, 812 there, so not much down to the downside. I guess it was 813, 814. We can zoom in a little bit more. There it is right there, 813, but then it recaptured the 50 period as well. but starting to make a little move up. Watch out for that 820 there if you are going to be looking at Tesla. I think that that's a good move to get. I don't know about getting out of it, but just watch out for that 820 if you're in that move. And then I am waiting for some more shares short right at the 50 period here. So like we were mentioning, you got to stay disciplined in this market. Try to wait for the right prices. Look how choppy this is of Microsoft. So we're just going to be in this because, hey, it's up half the market right now, so it's relatively weak against the market. I really love Softy, so don't get it kind of twisted between what we're doing here, what you're doing as a day trader, and then maybe what you're doing as a trader in your long-term portfolios or swing trades and whatnot. So we're going to hold out hope that, and it is really hope at this point because it's a pretty choppy market and the market is coming back here. We're going to hold out hope that Microsoft does want to make a move here back up, fill us at this level, and then make another move down to some of these lower lows. But hey, you guys know it's one of my favorite segments, and I'm sure it's one of yours as well. So let's go to Brendan with our guest of the day.
All right, it's earnings season. That means it's the best time to talk to Miss Danielle Shay, VP of Options at Simpler Trade. Not that, I mean, every time's the greatest time to talk to Danielle, but there's so much to talk about, I guess, is the best part about this right now. What a week it's been as far as earnings reports. We were talking, Danielle, when we came on here at 2 o'clock about the simple fact that Tesla's report was, I mean, not terribly exciting. There wasn't anything that kind of blew you away in the report, but yet it's one of those stocks that once it gets going and once traders take a hold of it, can put in a move like it has today. Give us a rundown here. How did you play going into last night, and what are you thinking today?
So, looking at Tesla, I mean, this is case in point of executives coming out prior to the report, setting the bar incredibly low. And then when the report comes out, just like you said, there wasn't anything amazing about it. I mean, yes, they did beat EPS numbers. There was a variety of other issues that were noted. But because market participants were already aware and already planning on that, once the report came out, it really just gave room for it to rally. And that is the theme of this quarter. I think that executives, not just Elon, have been doing that over the course of the past several weeks. And so when you look at a stock like Tesla that does have that really long-term, growth potential, I mean, this thing is on fire now. And the thing is that this is causing, an impact. Netflix and Tesla both are causing an impact on the NASDAQ, pushing the NASDAQ higher. I did actually go into Tesla long, so that is working out well for me. And I am a shareholder, a pretty large percentage of my portfolio. But when you look at Tesla, I'm looking at the impact that it's going to have on the rest of the NASDAQ stocks over the course of the next week and a half.
It's a great point in the sense that, we've had cautious comments going back to the beginning of the year, it seems like, not only from Elon, but from the rest of this tech group as well. So, I mean, even the furnace comment kind of led you to believe that something bad might be coming, but it turns out, yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine, right? Let's look ahead here a little bit then. If you were to maybe pick a trade, I mean, you said you're long now, long going forward, but if you were to pick a trade maybe in the next coming days for Tesla, what's the easiest setup here?
So, Brendan, I tried to short Tesla just ever so quickly, kind of before earnings, because of all the negative comments, because of the, the furnace comments and stuff like that. I shorted, it didn't work. I got out, I flipped around to the long side. I was actually targeting 800. And because this move has been so strong and because it's actually breached through that resistance at 800, my next target becomes 850. So right here, it's a little bit crazy, of course, to get in after it's already up so much. But Tesla is a momentum stock. They have their shareholder meeting on August 4th about the split. I'm betting on the fact that the split is going to be approved. And historically, that's been a really good catalyst for Tesla. So I think that it makes sense to continue trading it as long as this momentum continues to the upside. Amazing opportunities intraday and on a swing basis as well. Want to get your thought. We had a really good question from a viewer. Want to get your take here on earnings season in general. You've been a big proponent of trading in earnings season because of the opportunities that it presents. A viewer was simply asking, give us maybe a laundry list here, if you will, of what you're looking for in a stock and or the report itself that kind of puts it on your radar when it comes to an earnings trade. Yeah, of course. So the reason why trading options during earnings season works out most of the time, if you understand the way that options function, is because options increase in value and in price as you go into an earnings report. You have an implied volatility increase that is happening, no matter if the market's going up or down or sideways. And so because of that, you are able to come in and purchase options prior to earnings and ride that value up. Even if the stock ends up staying a little bit flat, the value will still increase in the option because of implied volatility increase. And then typically what will happen on the report is that implied volatility just gets completely crushed because it rises in anticipation of the report. So if you look at Netflix, for example, and if you look at this grid that I have up right here, you see this area in the grid. What this is it's measuring the implied volatility in the option pricing. And so you can see that it goes up and up and up. And especially for something as highly anticipated as Netflix, it just gets crushed on the report. So prior to the report, I usually like to buy options. And then on the report, I actually like to sell them, especially what you're looking for are stocks like this that are just so widely talked about. They have a huge implied volatility increase. What you can do is you can come in and sell those options just prior to the report and then buy them back cheaper the next day, as long as you pick the direction the right way.
Let's look ahead now. Great explanation. Thank you for that. A couple of interesting ideas here for tonight and tomorrow, obviously. Snapchat is coming, speaking of widely talked about stocks. Twitter as well. Obviously, there's other factors that we have to consider when we're talking about Twitter when it comes to Elon in general. But is there a trade there, I guess, is the first question for Twitter. And what are you thinking about with Snapchat?
So, Twitter, I don't see a great trade prior to the report. If you look at this grid, this is what I call the earnings hot zone. This is what I use to determine if I have a good trade idea or not. Basically, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for any kind of trend. Over the course of the last 8 quarters, yes, Twitter has beat 6 out of 8 quarters. But as you can see, half the time it gaps up, half the time it gaps down. The gaps are all over the place too. They're between 0.8% and 9.9%. Oh, we even have a 14% move. For something like that, it makes it really challenging to trade prior to earnings because you can't look at it and say, hey, 6 out of 8 times it trades higher, so let's sell puts. So for something like this that's all over the board, what I do is I wait until post earnings because we could very easily get a big momentum move to the upside or the downside. But because the stats are so all over the place, it's better to wait and see what the actual reaction is. Now, Snapchat, it's a little bit different. It is, again, pretty volatile. But I would say that it looks a little bit better just because when you look at the reactions, you can see that it has fallen a few times on earnings, 5%, 3.3%, 21%. That was a big down move, and then 2.5%. But you see how large the up moves are? You have a 44% up move, 17% up move, 8.7% up move, 22% up move. And 8 out of the last quarters, they've actually beat. So what that tells me, in conjunction with the fact that we're in a situation where we're actually breaking up above the prior highs, we have a squeeze right here, which is the consolidation breakout setup. I like the technical pattern for a gap fill up to 21. So on Snapchat, that's one that I'm looking at to just sell puts prior to earnings. But Twitter, I'm going to wait until tomorrow.
All right, let's go ahead to next week. The biggest, obviously, of the big names coming next week. Tuesday, I guess, through Thursday, I believe it is, when we'll get Google, we'll get Microsoft, we get Apple as well. So where do we start here? I don't want to overwhelm people with too much individual information, but where do we start here? What is your top of the list, I guess, for next week?
So, generally what I do with these is I look and I see how Netflix and Tesla react, and then I trade the others in a similar fashion. Since Netflix and Tesla have both been strong and they're rallying post earnings, even in light of the fact that, their earnings were good, but not great. I mean, it was all right. It was passable. And I'm looking at the 3 stocks you just mentioned, and every single one of them, I mean, they have a similar pattern. They're up above support. They have earnings coming up. They've been in consolidation. I think due to the fact that we have seen these positive moves out of Tesla and Netflix, and the technical patterns in Google, Microsoft, and Apple support it. I think all three of them you can look to trade to the upside into the earnings report over the course of the next couple of days. Now, I'm not trying to call a low. I'm not trying to say, you know, the bear market is over, nothing like that. I'm just saying that we can continue trading this momentum for the next few days until those earnings reports come out.
Going to be an important stretch overall, you know, this week and next week if you combine the two for the market itself, as we're trying to break, you know, 400 on the SPY. I'm looking at right, you know, in its face right now. A huge move off the low, a huge move off the low for these individual names. Just on a broad sense here, I mean, the market showing underlying strength for the first time in a long time, taking out, you know, pivot highs. Was that a higher low that we got on a daily time frame? Time will tell, obviously, but give us your overall thoughts here on where we're at.
I mean, honestly, a lot has changed over the course of the past week and a half. We're seeing technical patterns improve significantly. I think that a lot of the signals we're seeing the first bullish signals that I have really seen since really around the end of March. So when you look at the spiders, for example, you know, and you look at the way that it's been able to breach up above these key moving averages, we're really starting to see a breakout move here. It has a chance, right? This is the moment in time where I'm looking at the indexes and I'm saying, okay, there is a chance that things could change here. The trend could change. But the problem, Brendan, is look at what happened last earnings season. So if you look at the spiders from March into April and you see the way that it rallied going into earnings season. You know, at that time, people were saying, oh, the bear market is over and look at this rally and earnings, yay, yay, yay. And then what happened was the rug got completely pulled out and we careened to a new low. So I'm looking at this move as very, very similar to the move that we saw at the end of March. Things are improving, but you know, that doesn't mean that the low is in. It means we can trade to the upside for a few days, but just beware and be careful.
Yeah, no, it's a great point in the overall picture here. And let's face it, we don't have to race right back to all-time highs. You know, if the market wants to kind of trade in a range here for quite some time, it might actually be constructive overall. Danielle Shay, we appreciate your time as always. VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, too.
As always, thank you, Danielle. And look, it's fantastic advice around earnings season. When everyone gets really excited, I echo that sentiment about getting excited that we're out of the bear market, right? Like even if you look at the rallies from each time we bounce from like the Fed hikes, you've had a more shallow rallies. The first hike, we've actually had a smaller bounce on the SPY this time around than we did on the first rate hike when you caught that bounce. It was over 10% that time to the new high, and we still haven't been able to do that yet. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying yet. Some of you might have noticed ADXN making a bit of a I almost just said a bit of a move. What am I even talking about? ADXN halted to the downside after failing the high of the day at 250. So it halted at 190. Now, a lot of times on a reopen, I'm just thinking, okay, break this. It's floodgates. Short $2. I want to play that fade. I actually waited till it got up to 05, thinking like this 10 to 15, maybe even 20 area is going to be where it rolls over. But this was on our watch list this morning. The reason for a little bit of caution is despite this rug pull, it has held lunchtime support and its initial breakout price. So if you're long this from here or here, you always got to put it in perspective. If you're long it from like the open or the pre-market, or you're long it from yesterday, you're long it from $1, any of these, even this consolidation, you know, you're like, it has not broken that support just yet. So you got to ask yourself, can it retest the highs? Yeah, it might have just wiped out some of those longs that were up from the top, but you maybe haven't wiped out some of those that from the morning that might have stronger hands. So that's why I didn't like it on the reopen, just taking it blindly at 95. I didn't take it at 2. I stepped in here in front of 05s. I'm going to give it into this chop range here. I don't even want to add to the position until it starts rolling over. ADXN, almost said APDN, ADXN, so apologies if I said that wrong the first time, starting to make some moves back into that upside. I doubt that it breaks 250, but I'd rather have that be 2 trades, not 1. I did get into Micron. I want to show you why. Intel never as weak as I anticipated, but Micron at 63, which of course, as I show it to you, it's like it's about to break 63. Look at the wall that this has been all day long. Outside of the open, as the market's been screaming, Micron has been rejecting exactly $63. So you talk about key levels, forget these wicks in here. It's had these slight breaks. I'm out of it break 63. I'm actually thinking long if it gets to about 05. So I'd rather play this a couple of ways. One, tight stop on the short at the 63. But if it gets to 05s and the market's breaking out, this could be a bit of a jailbreak to the upside. It's got a lot of catching up to do. Still negative on the day on Micron. Despite all of this strength, it doesn't take much for it to join this party. And the NASDAQ is actually testing high of the day as we speak. That could be the catalyst.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I was just going to talk about Microsoft here quickly because we were average into the short. We took profit when it came down into here, but we still have our position on here for Microsoft, trying to give it to this 264.10 area or so before we get out of this one. So we're short Microsoft. We will, we didn't get our average in. Average in is coming here at 96. Hopefully we'll get that. And then, well, I mean, it's right here. We might as well. I'm just sitting there. Oh, we missed it. We'll get it in a second. Look at these futures. There it is. Look at these. Well, we didn't get it again. Look at these futures though, man. I mean, it's just bouncing around like crazy here, back and forth, trying to take out new highs like Neil just mentioned there. It looks like we are going to do that, but we're going to be into that short. And I did want to go long on AMD. This could get nasty because we're going to be short Microsoft, but AMD is one of the ones that could break this little shelf right there, 90.85. So if that happens, we want to go long on AMD as well. But Brendan's got something.
BBBY just popping up here on big volume spike, trying to get back through 550 right now. 13G filing with the SEC, which is typically for shareholder disclosures. It looks like Freeman Capital, guys, taking a stake in 6.2% stake in BBBY.
Okay, so Bath and Beyond. I gotta get to that one very quickly, but something crazy just happened. It wasn't that crazy on ADXN. Keep saying the wrong symbol. Sorry, guys. ADXN there. It was climbing up to 215. I thought it was going to be pretty orderly here up to that 220 for a rollover. And then suddenly the bid just started dropping. So the spread opened up. The size on level 2 just started going away for a bit. And then it started going back and forth in a 7-cent range. So I decided, okay, well, this is going to tell me a bit of a story. I'll just add here and then get the position and then give it the stop to that 215 area instead of waiting for it to get into that chop. That turns into a bit of a wick off top, and now you can possibly have a bit of a failure. But we can never ignore. Today, look, GameStop does have the split, and it's crazy that I don't even think I didn't trade GameStop today. They got the split effective tomorrow. You might have thought that was going to make some moves. It's been relatively weak, but Bed Bath & Beyond has a short sell in its own right. And when you get that kind of a story, it's much like that DWAC. Like if it holds VWAP, if it holds the top end of that range, and even the morning support levels, that gives you a good base to come away from, right? And it's actually already put in a pretty good base there. So, you know, it's got to be on our radars. Micron just broke, so I'll get out. Am I reversed into the long? There we go. Now reversed into the long on Micron as the market just took out that high. Now I get it. Micron is relatively weak, but it's been this shelf at 63, and if a level is significant, and the trend is to the upside, then I just feel like it's not that hard of a trade to put on. If it breaks like 80s, you risk about 20 cents, but the high of the day is like 70, 80 cents away. So even if it gets halfway there as a relatively weak name, if this market just wants to continue this break, I can't see why Micron wouldn't be participating in that move. So Micron reversed into the long, into that ADX end of the short side. I'll probably try out that BBBY if it pulls back a little bit to that previous resistance. And I mentioned GameStop with the 4-to-1 split tomorrow. Ooh, it's actually gotten off the bid. I was going to say it was such a dog all morning long off the failure at 160, but hey, it's starting to climb. Now, this wouldn't surprise me if GameStop were to be able to hold VWAP and make a late day run here. Feels like it already put in this $5 move, but it's putting in some higher lows. I just want to see better volume than this. Quite frankly, the volume has been very disappointing for a stock that you would think would have some hype going into the split. Not a lot of excitement, apparently. It did run up going into this. Like, if you look at the daily chart, maybe it's because it's already run 120 to 160. You know, so it's already put in the move, and it just turns into a sell the event, right? 160 resistance, and then tomorrow will come in, and $40 will be resistance as well. So you do the quick math. I know I'll be looking at the $40 level, but maybe it's just to sell the event because they've already run 25%.
Wow, this market, like, again, another 1.3%. We did get out of our Microsoft trades. We're getting thrown around here a little bit on Microsoft, on Micron. I know you went long on Micron there, and I'm going to do the same thing here, coming up with AMD. There's that 540, so we are not long on AMD. I was looking at this 541 there for Bed Bath & Beyond. I feel like that's worth it to try that long on that break of 541-ish on Bed Bath & Beyond. So, you know, just looking at that, I think it's just one of those names where you want to be long this name if it breaks higher, just in case. I don't know anything about any of those guys or whatever that was went long or went short or what was the man? What was the group? I'd never heard of them regardless anyway. So, but there. Just noticing here that we did get obviously into that AMD trade there, and I think I double hit it by accident, but that's okay. Let's see if we can go back up to the upside here with AMD up to 94s. Would be nice if we can get that, is where we were looking for, but no, we're looking for a lot higher than that. I had offers there at 94, but all right, there it is, a nice little move to the upside. Look at Microsoft, man. We've lost money on Microsoft today, and again, just now, look how much that went up. Like, get out of the short at 264, but then where's the punch long, my friend? We don't have the punch long, which I wish we did, as there goes Microsoft. Look at that, up that 0.87% right now, taking out day highs. But here we go, man. We're making a lot of money back on this trade with AMD. There it is. Yeah, go get through 91 right now if we can do that on AMD to the upside. So we will ring some registers on a first trade here for me today on AMD, but it's one of those slippery slope type things where it wants to go up and then it doesn't. We are looking at 91.50, I guess, as the high of the day. So let's just
Amazon
continue.
125.
Yeah, Amazon's up to 25 as well. There's
baby.
There's Bed Bath & Beyond right now. Whoops, a Bed Bath & Beyond. We have that level pinged down for you right now.
So just very quickly, so
all right.
Remember Amazon is 2,500 was a monster level, was the last resistance level on Amazon before the split. So 125 is pretty big. I am shocked right now that Snapchat did not break the high of the day. It's got a huge top, but Amazon 125, that's the one for me. I'm going to be all over this one. I was waiting for this all day long. Thank you guys in the chat for mentioning it's super strong. Micron have already taken some out. That's starting to head to the upside, but this market took out the high of the day. What I meant by Snapchat was this stock has been strong into earnings, and it had this top here that looked for all the world was about to break. The market breaks the high, Snapchat rejects. If we pull back in below the highs, maybe Snapchat turns into a bit of a sell. So not what I was expecting to see over in Snapchat, but Amazon, this needs to be played. Oh, there's that part of me that's saying I should be short in front of this 125 and reverse into the long. It's just like old habits die hard, but I'm trying not to short this.
All right, good. Yeah, we're
there's size on the offer.
Yeah, Amazon. I mean, Amazon's a positive stock for me today, but yeah, we've gotten out of it here at 125. It's a nice move upside there. That would have been a great call to get that short, but we've been shorting. That's all I've been today on that name is short. So yeah, short on Amazon. I like that call for sure. All right, so there's Bed Bath & Beyond again, like we were saying before there. We're in this name at 42. There it is right there. Got some out at 48, so we'll wait to see if that wants to make that move back up to the upside. We're out of half of our AMD as it did approach that 91 level. So we take 15 cents and now it's 15 cents against us on AMD. So kind of like not really making any money on that play, but still not doing too bad on it. So we'll wait to see. It is cracking a little bit lower now on AMD. If we're going to look at some levels, you're breaking that 50 period rate now, back down in right there. So I think you got to wait for this 90-40 area, which would be nasty for that to break. But like I can't win here. Like I hold Microsoft in, and this is what I mean about like not trying to be too stubborn. Like we hold Microsoft. It was good to get out, but like, you know, where's my short up there? Like we should be short there on Microsoft, and of course we're not. But there it is, man. Yes, sir. We traded all over here, and I'm trading Bed Bath & Beyond right now. Thanks to Brendan for that call out. Here it is right now. A nice little move up to the upside. 54s gone for Bed Bath & Beyond now up to 55. Like, yeah, man. You know, what's wrong? We'll take a piece out in that if it rips out. There it is. Did we get any of that? Yes, we did. Nice little move to the upside there for Bed Bath & Beyond. Taking taking one more piece out at 555 there. So a good name for me, a good trade for me for sure on Bed Bath & Beyond as we hit that long now at 42. It's up to 55. So yes, sir, ringing the register on that play as that's coming back in. So good trade there for Bed Bath & Beyond. And then again, you know, if AMD does get back into here, maybe we should average in right now and then just play it off that bottom of 90.40 right there for AMD. So yeah, so far so good, man. What's up, Flame Boy? You are welcome, my man. There, big shout out to you. You bought it the same time I did. So good job on that one, Flame Boy. But I am out of 60% of this trade already. So let's see if the other 40% can hold for that upside.
Yeah, quickly, both markets, the NASDAQ right here with a wick top through the high of the day. You're going to see that big rejection. It was breaking out on a decent volume spike and then put in a wick top. The same thing happened over there in the ES. We got up close to 125 on Amazon and then pulled back the same way. So I just shorted the 124.50. We'll risk up to the 125, obviously, and then play this to the south side, Brendo.
Another one, big mover today, guys. OLMA, which is Olema Oncology. Up on this note, FDA fast track for a breast cancer treatment for this one. So OLMA just popping back up, making some moves here as well.
Okay, why not? Add another one to the list there. I still want to have a look at GameStop. I checked over there, and it's not sustaining the move, unfortunately. So it might be a bit of a nothing burger on GameStop. Tesla, by the way, remember 820? Yeah, on that same spike up in the futures, Tesla got to 819, I think 80 or so, and then pulled back a little bit. So 820 is still just a tight consolidation. If the market can legitimately get through the high, like you still have valid breakouts on all of these names, guys. So I mean, I saw a bunch of stuff get the tops and then put a reversal in. I'll show you what happened over there in Micron. Like it got that first spike to the upside, and then the futures rejected the high of the day, which is part of the reason we liked reversing into the long. And this is what happens. You're right back now in the money, like only a couple of cents there, like 5 cents in Micron. But this is what happens when you reject that top, which it just feels like a theme in these afternoon shows, where it doesn't matter how strong the market is. It's always a bit of a struggle for us to get through that high of the day, which is probably why I end up in a few shorts at this time of the day, because you just got to follow the pattern when it's there. Maybe not the Tesla short, but I suppose Tesla 820 isn't all that different from Amazon, except Tesla's up 10% on the day. So slight difference.
All right, we took BBY here. We're going to tweet it out here on the news that Freeman Capital disclosed a 6.2% stake. So we will tweet all this out as well for you there, and then just make note of it, because there we are out. Not out of it all, but we took another piece out there at 64 on this news. But a good little move there for Bed Bath & Beyond, going up to the upside there. So now we only have 30% left of this trade, but a good one there. Shout out to Flame Boy and everybody else who had that in. And shout out to Brendan, of course, who did bring that trade to us one more time. All right, 90.80. Oh, yeah, it needs to get up to at least 90.80. Now that I look at that price, I was like, hey, where can I get out of this? 90.80. I was like, that's not a bad area right there. That little level that we broke, and that's where we went long. So, but I just looked over at my price. It's 90.71. So that would not be a very big win if we did get that. But again, look what we're trying to get out. If it breaks back down below 90.40, so that's like a 30-cent worth of hit. So we'd like to at least get this back to 91 to get the R and the R going. But you could see, oh man, the NASDAQ did fail there at that top one more time. So it doesn't look like that's going to be something that we're going to be able to do. But, we are holding out for that bottom here on AMD. So that's another look there. Apple, another one we did get out. That did make a nice high there as well. Obviously, we wish that this would continue to go up on that one. Amazon's just still, I know Neil's in it, but just still chilling out right now at this 124.50 level. So that's something to look at. But there you go. AMD, we could get out, man. Watch out for this 90.40 break. Just want to bring that to you. That's where my out is.
What happened to AMC? Wow. Like I had almost forgotten that I had an 18 long on AMC this morning, that I stopped out back at 18 when it took out the low. This is at $17 right now. Like, it's just been fading. No wonder, like, some of the meme names have been relatively weak. It's just the money's going elsewhere, unfortunately for them. But that's just completely insane. I didn't realize how weak AMC had gotten. We got to watch. That was a good level, 17, the last couple of sessions. So we'll have to pay attention to it. I'm not in Snapchat. Someone in the chat was like, yeah, should you only focus on, like, A+ setups? I mean, in general, you only want to take your best setups. Now, does that mean if you have a decent trade that's like a B or B minus to you, that you don't take it. I don't necessarily think so. But if you're in 2 or 3 positions and you're considering adding a fourth, well, yeah, maybe it should be an A+ setup if you do. The reason I'm not in Snapchat is because it's not perfect, right? Like the thing about Snapchat is, okay, you've broken out at 16 here on the daily. You're above the 50 period. This is why I thought it was going to be a breakout long on Snapchat when the market took out the high, actually, because everything about it on the higher time frame says above that 16 is the break. So shorting it at this high, I don't love. Like if it takes out 16 and it gets back below this breakout price, which has been huge since late May, then I think it turns into a weaker stock or more of a short side trade. So that's why I was leaning towards a long trade, taking out the high on Snapchat. And quite frankly, I'm still surprised that it hasn't done so. Micron, I saw AMD pull back, and I'm like, yeah, Micron, it's going to come right back to this 63 area. Looks like that failed break at the high of the day is going to obviously suck for the long that I have on here in Micron. I got one leg out, but that's all I was able to get out. It might not go, but it's holding 63 at least for now. Amazon's been going back and forth off of that initial push. Like it got to 124.50. It's gone in the money about 20 cents or so, and then tried to bounce back to the upside. But again, that's only like 20 cents. We're risking to 125 here. This needs to drop down into the 124 range for it to make any sense. If I was in Tesla at 819, let's just say, like, I'd need it to drop below 818. You need to make it move down into 815 for a trade like that. In Amazon, it's not that dissimilar. And keep in mind, this is one, if the market takes out the high, I do want the long at 125 on a reversal. It is a significant level. It does bear mentioning, it is 320, so we have 40 minutes to go. Power hour is going to heat up. Because if we reject this high, usually you get a pretty good pullback on a day like today. But some of these trades, like the reversal at 125, if it's 349, I'm probably not putting that trade on. I would just get out of my short. I don't like taking a breakout with 10 minutes left to go in the market, because I can only hold it for that 10 minutes.
That's right. It's already 3:20. Shout out to Danielle Shay. Thanks for throwing that down for us today as well. Danielle Shay, great guest, and thank you for that. And thanks for all the love today on the show. If you can hit the like button, that'd be great. Let's get up to 1,000 likes if possible here today on the closing show. I mean, don't you like this trade? Bed Bath & Beyond again. Just an update. Shout out to Flameboy and everybody else that took that. What's up, Gorilla Fish? I've been trading all AMD all day long. 191 seems like a key pivot level. You mean 91 by that one, of course. Might have trouble getting through that. Yeah, no, I know. I'm not in love with this AMD trade at all. I mean, that's why we got out of half of it at the time. We got out of half there at 91. You could see off this 85 break. So I thought it was going to go. It's going to be wrong. We did average in right here into that spot. So we have our outs here. And yeah, it's a big position for me. So hopefully, it's not big, but it's big enough. So hopefully we can get that to come into the money now for us. What's up, Dominic? Yeah, we saw you before. Thanks for coming back, man. We missed you on the chat. So thanks, Dominic, for that, for throwing down again. But there's Bed Bath & Beyond. That's a good name for us. Yeah, I don't know. Everything's been working pretty good today. I mean, I'm just really looking at AMD. And other than that, that's about it for me right now. So we'll sit on AMD, see where this goes. But I'm looking at that 90-40 break, and then we're out here on AMD. So the biggest position on right now, AMD. Let's see where it goes.
And I kind of feel like for this pullback, I mean, if Tesla's not going to make a pullback, it's going to be able to do with some heavy lifting up at this top again. But if this starts to roll over, it's going to drag everything with it. When it's up 10%, it's such a large weighting. And we're rejecting the high of the day in the market. I mean, you get through 815 and start getting through some of these support levels, which quite frankly, Tesla has just not been doing all session long. Yeah, then you're going to see some follow through. I think that's what the Amazon trade's going to need. If you're looking at like a Snapchat, that's what we'll need. There was one other one. When I was sort of fumbling for a name there, and shout out to Super SPAC Man, he reminded me that I had a Shopify short earlier on in the day off of its high, starting to work into 40, and then I actually made almost a top wick. Actually did make the top wick, missing by about a cent or so, and then it just sort of came back and played the same end of the range. It keeps bouncing off of $40. Like there's buyers forever here today at $40, and that's why you can only take the short really tight to the high. Because if you have resistance at 40 even, then you start shorting it in this consolidation, the risk to reward is just entirely out of whack if the buyer maintains through 40. But again, if it's a stock that gets below that price, when the market rejects the top, this can start to roll over. And that's why it's either right off the high of the day or it's through that 40 area. Either way, you want the market to be participating with you. And that means keeping your eyeballs on Tesla. Tesla makes a turn. I'm telling you, these are all going to start to go. Now, obviously, Apple, Microsoft, they're going to matter too. The chips are going to matter here. I thought I'd be more concerned about Micron as the market didn't, sort of rejected that high, but it ends up holding that 63. So it breaks out there, and then on the dip for now is holding support at that 63. That's a pretty good sign. So I think I have a decent one if the market does take out the top without needing a break of the high of the day on like a Tesla or an Amazon. This could end up holding this level, and then we can get a push toward its high of the day. But Micron's not even green here, so it's going to need some help.
Yeah, I found a name that's relatively weak. Obviously, today is going to be Meta. We talked about that as a possible swing trade. It just gave you 184 again, which is where we closed yesterday. Wicked strength in Meta yesterday into the close, right? So we thought, well, actually, it was 183, I guess, is where Meta closed. And you did tick out earlier, 183, 183.50. There's your 184. So, yeah, not much happening today for Meta, unfortunately, as it dances around here. I mean, I don't really want to go long on any name right now because I already am in AMD, which looks like it's going to try to test that bottom, which it's doing right now. So yeah, we'll stay away from that. But Meta, just watch out for that one. It is weaker today. We didn't expect that to be weaker today, but it is. That is Meta. Okay, Bed Bath & Beyond. It's very, very close to that high of the day again. This is probably the best kind of low, it's not really a low float, but kind of like meme stock here today for us, because this is a nice one. 30 cents clean, man, one time in, never went against us. And I told you, if we take out that top, this is going to be well worth the risk profile. So let's see, come on. I'm sitting at 75, which is the high of the day. Maybe, there it is. I got that? Okay. Did I get some, or was that, yeah, it was at 75. Okay. So we did get some 75s there as it just touched, and then we got it. We got a piece, and now it's back up to the downside. But there's a little out there at 75. Sometimes you just got to sit there and get it. That means it's going to rip right through 75 when it happens, but that's so far so good on that one as we hold a little piece left for the ultimate move to the upside. That's pretty good move already, man. We just took for you right there 10% or so. That's actually, it's a little bit less than that. That's 38 cents on 540. So about 8% or so to the upside there for Bed Bath & Beyond on that report. So good move upside right now. That's that Freeman Capital disclosing a 7% or a 6.2% stake on this name. So far so good there for Bed Bath & Beyond. But if you're going to look at this name, I mean, you know, kind of been beat down a little bit down here, down to $5. This was just in April, $26. So yuck, yuck, yuck on
31% short. That's the number.
That. Yeah, no, I'm surprised it's not even higher than 31% short there on that one. So yeah, let's get those likes up. I'm just seeing right now in the chat, what's up, Frank Jones? 727 likes. And I'm just sitting, like I said, this is not a day breaker or maker or anything like that, but we definitely want this to go back up to the upside. AMD off of those bottoms. We'll see, but who knows for how long we'll see this trade come through for us. AMD trying to work here. I don't know if it's going to up to 90.60. We got to watch out for that trade.
Yeah, and another one that's definitely going to the upside, and thank you guys for the chat. This is another reason why we want to grow this community, because I forgot all about Tough Built, and Tough Built made the break of the initial break we had this morning was of yesterday's high. You get that double top at 520, 525, and we took that break in the morning. It then failed that breakout, and we're waiting around for it to try to reclaim it. Well, it did, and I wasn't sitting there, but you guys were talking about it, and now it has a chance to get through the high of the day. If it dips down, I'm thinking right in front of that 525 again on a dip to see if it can run higher. Super strong name today. Of course, this is more about the size of the float than anything else. And this is one of those like just pushes to the upside based on the low float. So if we can get some 25s, we like it. If we can take out the high of the day, that can be strong. The other name in that space, EVTL, which is not going to make the mistake this time. It's a New York stock, Neil. It ain't no NASDAQ stock, in spite of me thinking it is. It just bounced off 750. That was the test we're looking for. Capitulation candle into 750, reclaims that high. Now the risk to reward is going to be on in front of that level. It's pretty simple. Like if I can get in the 60s, risk to the 50 break, slippage of 5 cents or less, I like that risk to reward. It doesn't even have to break 8 for you to win on that trade, but that does mean a hard stop at that 750 level. So we'll have to make sure we get that in there. Amazon's still doing about nothing. ADXN is still sort of chilling out. Like it put in that wick off candle. So I did add to the position. The first time it even touched $2 was just now. Like it just hit $2 and bounced off it and back into this range. At the end of the day, this is not a bad place to be in when it's already done that kind of a move to the downside, because it puts another huge push in. Like I'll get filled all the way down to 190 and still be holding a portion of the position to hold for like 175 in case you get that kind of a candle. And then I have my stop the entire way. And yes, if it takes out this recent high, since the open, not the high of the day, then I will be out of that trade altogether. If you're watching Tesla, which you should be, it is just slipping slowly down to 815, right? And I keep watching the NASDAQ below that previous high, which was like 126, 12,620 or so. So we're just teetering below it. Tesla's starting to slow down, starting to slide off. If we break 15s and we're still below those highs, this is where the shorts are going to come in. This is where I get, again, concerned about Micron, which is, again, continuing to work here. I need the market to go out. Kind of hope Tesla can drag it up a few extra points, but my next target is in the 630, like just above 630 here, to take more out of Micron. This was a reversal. I shorted in front of 63 because it was a wall since noon. When it broke, with the market at highs, it had some catching up to do, and it's well on its way to doing it.
All right. All right. Well, hey, I finally get to speak, Fahad. Brendan. All right, let's go to Brendan. What up, Brendan?
It's like he waited.
I'm going to mention, guys, on Tesla specifically. I saw a few people talking about this year. It had a 14% day way back in February, if you can believe that, which was the eventual low. I think it was this day or this day maybe. Anyways, so this is working on its second largest day of the year, but it did have a 14% day back in February.
Is that all?
Yeah. And again, you know, some of these are bull traps, right? I mean, Tesla and some of these names have been so beat down, and then you get people that are offside, like Netflix, right? People that are offside a little bit there. In their positioning heading in. You heard what Danielle Shay had to say there about how she was initially short. I should have asked her, like, how do you go initially short and then just flip it long? Like there's no problem there. So I was actually wondering what triggered her to do that. But a nice little move. Now that I think about it, at the time I wasn't thinking. But, you know, that's an interesting one there for Tesla. So I just feel like you got to be careful here heading into earnings. I think that's the whole theme. But I did like what she was saying there. We've had basically two major tech companies come out, and both of them with beautiful beats, basically. I mean, Tesla, they're up pretty big today. You can see what's happening with Tesla today. Well, we already know it. I mean, I'll call it up again here. Up that 10%, 999. You just saw that. That was pretty cool. Tesla up nicely today as well. And then yesterday with Netflix. So far, I'm going to say it's 2 for 2. I mean, Netflix was down at what, $200? They reported. Now you're up to 220. So that's 10% there plus on Netflix, and let alone the run that it had going into it. So next week, I feel like Meta, I feel like Google, Apple, some of these names I like better than Netflix and better than Tesla. So hopefully they can hold out hope to get a little going on that front as well. There it is, finally. I was going to say the market's starting to go back up to the upside here. So we will start to ring a little bit of a register here on AMD. I want to be able to hold it, and I'm not really ringing the register. It is going to be a green stock for me today. But as it starts to come back up to the upside, I mean, I have shares on here, so I'd like to try to capture a little bit of profit if it does bust back up, because we were dancing with the devil down here at that 940 for a bit. So there it is, nicely done, back up to the upside. Long at 67 here on AMD. We had to hold out hope for that. We said we were taking about a 30-cent hit, so it wouldn't really make sense unless we got something out back up here, up to the upside. So now we're back into 80s. So let's, again, just take advantage of this move up. We have right now 95 milli to buy on the buy side. So thanks, Brendan, for that one. It's nice to see that we have that. And it's also nice to see right now that we do have a smoking trade on board right now with Bed Bath and Beyond. So thank you to Brendan for that one, as this one's really rocketed our net to the upside here as we took shares on that 540 break. We tweeted it out as well, so hopefully some of you have that. Nice little move up to 580 and still making moves, man. People still talking about ADXN right now.
It just broke that 215, so I'm going to show you right here.
Yeah,
we had
so
our
it's a
stop
long.
at 15.
Oh, no, it's a short.
I just got out of it right at that 215. We're in the consolidation with the stop at the high. We got some at 1-to-1, and now it's breaking to the upside. Obviously, when AMD went up, that's going to be, that's going to give the Micron target as well. But we're headed toward these tops. That means Snapchat, well, and Amazon as well, although Amazon's not at 125 yet. Snapchat trying to get to these highs and look for its breakout. Remember I said I favored a break on Snap. It's attempting, it has a dark pool wick up to, I hate when this happens. Like, it has a dark pool wick up to 1640. We have not broken this high of the day on Snapchat. I got to stop for us to take out this 1633 top. It's just a strong stock. Market trying to get through the high of the day. On the daily chart, there we go. Now it's broken through the high. On the daily chart, I was showing you the 50 period, and this resistance at 16 was breached. So Snapchat, I did favor going into the long as opposed to the short. This is not a wick off top because, quite frankly, I never saw it go to that 1640 area. But Snapchat through the highs. I checked Tesla, not doing much. It's just bouncing off of a little bit of support at that 815 area, not getting through the tops currently. Shopify was another one we're looking at, saying, hey, don't short this. If it breaks 40, fair enough. Otherwise, you've got to see it fail at the high of the day. So thankfully, I managed to stay away from that. I was short that price earlier, but not taking it here, not with the market breaking out, or at least attempting to break those highs. I think you want to be balanced here. If you're still dealing with a monster level, fair enough. But if you're trading a strong stock, you got to be really picky about where you're going to be shorting it. Shop's been a bit of a beast. It needs to be failing through $40 or needs to fail that high of the day, which I just ain't seen happen yet. If it does, it does, but I'm not at that point. And I keep going back to it because if there's one stock that it wouldn't surprise me if it did something late, really late, it would be GameStop going into the split. It is still absolutely sleeping, but I keep checking back in on it. If it makes a good consolidation break, there could be a nice scalp trade. I'm just still shocked. Nobody wants to touch this thing this afternoon, probably because some other meme and small cap names like Bed Bath & Beyond are going and taking away all the gusto, the juice, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on a second, I'm just messaging my wife here. Okay, yeah, all is well, all is well. All right, so I hate to just keep talking about the same stock, but I'm only in AMD. I wanted to look here at Google. I'll let this fly now. I mean, we want to let it go to the upside. I have something at 69, I have something at 79, and I have something at 89, but I'm going to cancel the 89 and the 79 because I want this to go to the upside. So Google, just like we were talking about AMD there, where, not super strong today. There's been stronger names. Google's another one today that isn't very strong at all. So Google only up that 0.14. Their earnings coming, I think, Tuesday, Meta Wednesday. So you're going to see some stuff. I don't know. I guess it's all aftermarket, so I guess you have to look at it the day after that. But today, not very much here on Google. You did get a dump off early in that name to the downside. I wonder kind of what caused this. I'm not sure. The market was okay, so Google got dumped off pretty good there. Remember, though, like the market was positive, and then we went negative. Remember, I was like, yeah, this kind of feels like a little bit of a negative day. So Google did hit that to the downside, and then just bounced off 111, basically straight up $3. Like there's the move to 114. So you don't even get too many pullbacks right there. But I guess you pulled back to VWAP there at 112, still remaining pretty strong. We'll look at this on I can't really look at it at a 20-minute. I have to pull down eSignal here because of the split. So there it is right there on eSignal. And we're just looking at that 115 level. So I wanted to keep that in mind for tomorrow. And again, we'll be here tomorrow, obviously. We're here every single day. It's going to be Friday, and we go for Trader TV Live bowling tomorrow. So that should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll have some beers for you on the show as well. 115.40 top right there. Fahad, you don't drink, I don't think. Do you drink? No, he does not. Okay, so I was going to, because I need to have this man in the right frame of mind. So
then I need to make sure that Lucas is of sound mind and body too.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. But I just want to make sure because I wanted there has to be no excuses, no nothing, because tomorrow's the bowl-a-thon between Lucas and
grudge match.
No, not a grudge match. This is the initial match. Okay, so the grudge match will be after Fahad beats Lucas, and then Lucas is so mad that he wants a grudge match with the man himself, Fahad. So we'll see what does happen there tomorrow. Bed Bath & Beyond, again, we only have 10% left. It's 565. We'll see. I'll get out if it breaks down through 555, giving us still that 15 cents of a win into the close. But here we go, getting excited now because AMD trying to go back up to the upside, trying to hit some targets for us. So we're in the money about 10 cents. We need to get a little bit more than that to make this a profitable trade. So let's go. Yeah, the beers and hot wing challenge. Yeah, we are waiting. We got, we're waiting for sauces and so on and so forth. But
we think it's going to be about mid-August. We're going to be we're going to do.
The guy got back to us, right?
He got back to us. We're going to do that hot wing thing. It's just we have to wait until we get the sauces in so that you can see us squirm while talking the markets and eating some hot wings. Tough Bill, TBLT here, trying to take out that high. Now, it rejected this really harshly in the morning. The volume is only okay, but it's like a smidgen of what we saw earlier in the day, and not a ton of volume on this high break. I think it needs to churn through a bit more, but Tough Built, a few pennies away from getting through that current high of the day. Should be, look, it's definitely one to watch. We are running short on time here. I mean, Snapchat's trying to go. It's just not a lot of follow through when it broke that high, and part of the problem is, yes, Snapchat broke the high. Yes, the market got back above the previous high, but it's not going anywhere off that high. So this is why I'm not seeing follow through on Snapchat. This is why Amazon, although it went against me, it never got to 125. That's a bit discouraging. So any breakout that takes this long to go is a bit disappointing. I'm going to start to trim this position. I don't want to be adding to Amazon, but part of my gut is just telling me the more we reject this, the more I should be willing to take some shares, take a few more shares in front of that 125, because we're running out of time for the breakout anyways here, as Tesla just took its 50 period and just took 815. Yeah, it's really starting to feel like the play might just be into the short side on the rejection of these highs of the day. The closer you get to the end of the day without taking the tops, I mean, all I like is 125 in Amazon, where I know where I'm wrong. So I might just have to add to this one and say if I can't find something else I like short, then I can short more of the thing that I like. That made sense.
I'm wondering, you guys might have saw me in AMC earlier, right? And it's like, this was in the morning time when I was in AMC. And I remember I was like, I don't know, I got in and then I got out almost right away. And I was like, what the hell was that? And now I'm not even seeing a tick down. See, when these guys make money behind us, it gets a little louder, so you might be hearing some of that in the background there. So that's always good. I don't know if you guys can, but that's always a good sign for us here. That's for sure. So we're really happy for everybody in the back there. But AMC, not a great day for AMC shareholders as we approach. Obviously, we've talked about this a couple times. We approach that level tomorrow with the GameStop. So with them splitting, so you're going to see AMC today heading a little bit to the downside. I mean, AMC obviously can't split anyways. So, and they're not going to go 10-1 to go down to $1.70. That would be ridiculous for them to do that. But right now, AMC just at that $17 mark and looking to take down the day's low there on AMC. Okay, we are reloaded and we just got it right now. No idea if this is going to work or not, but let's take out something if it does want to work back up to the upside there. Am I in the right stock? Yes, I am. For AMD, we actually waited to get that price down here, trying to be a little more patient with this name. So we waited for that price down into the 40s because, again, we had a little bit too much risk on at the high side, so we did take some out. And then now we're getting, yes, sir. Now we're getting rewarded, Fahad, on this AMD trade. So there it is on the reload. Let's go with that bang situation one more time as we're starting to get this out on the upside. So, yeah, AMD will be a nice little profitable win for us off of that bottom now, almost no matter what now that we've scalped this out, back on the way back up. So here, let's go AMD. Hopefully this can take out back up to those 70s as we're only 9 minutes away. But hey, this is scalping, right? This is why, we do what we do here. We're able to scalp in and out of these trades. And again, we're trading prop money here, so we have to be flat at the end of every single day. We're able to use the buying power that we have, push it into the market, give all that back at the end, and get a nice juicy chunk of profits in our own pocket here. So bang, there it is. And that's what happens right now. Let's go upside for AMD. We reloaded that position. So here we go again, man. A nice little move. 70, there's size there. That ain't size. If you really want to sell it, put some real size there. But on that note, I'll get out in front of it a little bit. 90, 70 there, staring that into the face. I still think AMD will go. That I wasn't meant to mock that size. That's 20,000 shares into 84 million. So that's not going to do anything. But here we go. AMD a 20-cent winner. Bed Bath & Beyond 21 cents. Good way to end the day here as far as I'm concerned. That Amazon making that move up to 125 again. I don't think that breaks by the end of the day, but it is making that strong move up. We've already made money on Amazon. It's a profitable name for me, but look what we did. We got out of the way on these shorts the minute that we broke through 124. So it's a nice move to the upside here for AMZN.
Yeah, just not really following through every chance it gets. It's like lower highs each time. But this is Tesla. This is Tesla rolling back over, and that's when I added back in Amazon. Basically, it's the same price I had before, so it's the same thing. But TBLT just took out its high of the day. I did grab some out on Snapchat. And before we go to Brendan, just going to quickly go here. Micron's starting to roll over. I'm trailing this now back at 63.10 because we're not sustaining this move to the high of the day. Each time we get there, it's been a reverse. Like, it's insane. We've broken it like 5 or 6 times in the last 15 minutes, and we just keep pulling back. And I'm talking about that NASDAQ, Brendan.
There was some volume there, guys, on Cassava Sciences. We've talked about this story many times in the past. You can see volume spike there to the upside. Science.org coming out with a report on their Alzheimer's treatment, saying that some of the data could be quote unquote fraudulent. So not much of a reaction though for Sava.
So I just see in here what people asking what is prop money, proprietary trading. So we trade with Day Trade the World. You can go find that out. Like the amount of money that I trade with is multiple digits, of which I don't have that much money to throw into the market. So that is the benefit here. And then once you're trusted, they sort of up your account and so on and so forth, and you got to earn your way through. So that's what we're doing here at Day Trade the World, which is why I stay here. I mean, 21 years. I had 12 and a half years of no negative months, and then we had 1 negative month, and then went on like another 5-year run or something like that. We don't have any negative months this year. We try to keep it almost as clean and as easy as we can as we trade. So for those of you that have been here for 24 months, you haven't seen me. I mean, we've talked about this since 2020. Haven't had a negative month since the show started. So it's a good one. And that's why I said to you guys about familiarity. Still like that word. I'm still proud of myself for pronouncing it properly, even though English is the only and first language of mine. But be familiar with the stocks that you're trading, understand your strategies, and I've really, really adapted in this market, especially since being on the show, because what? I got to entertain, right? We got to entertain, we got to educate, and we got to try to, put food on the table for our families. I got 3 kids, man. Whoa, so yeah, it's been a fun one there. My other kid is right now working in our algo department in the back right now, Baxter. So a big shout out to Baxter working on the algos in the background. I just hope that he eventually one day can make more money than me, and I'm hoping that one day is soon. Need that guy to start paying some rent.
So I'm looking at Zila, and thank you guys for pointing this one out. Zila, I'll get to TBLT in a quick second. Zila has this 2 million share buyer, 1.76 million if you're splitting hairs at 15 even. Now you're running out of time to be able to scalp this. This is not the same thing as the other day. I believe it was Amazon. It was Amazon. It's not the same thing as size on Amazon pushing it around, right? Like this is a 15-cent stock. So 1.8 million shares at 15 cents is not a lot of money. It doesn't take a ton of buying power to take that order out. That being said, it's done 300 million shares. It's not insignificant. It could bounce off that price. I don't think there's much time to do anything with that right now. To be honest with you, like it's just the risk to reward of trying to grab longs in off these tens of cents to try and scalp it. It's not there, not at this time of the day. You're running out of time to be able to make that play. But it does bear watching 15 cents tomorrow. So I will be doing that. I keep thinking Snapchat, look, maybe we're looking at this one tomorrow. It could be one of those things. It took out that high. It's still pretty bullish on the higher time frame, but the market won't go. So it's only sliding upside. I think it's a crappy win, quite frankly, because if I look at this chart, and the upside that it should have making this break, I think it could really go. Like it should be giving you, 20, 30 pennies on the initial move and then getting the next dollar higher, but there's no time for that to happen. So I am gonna have to start taking this out. There's like 2 minutes till imbalances. 3 minutes until imbalances come out. And I don't wanna get caught in this one. It's not like Amazon, where in Amazon, it's 125. If it breaks 125, I'm out. Like I kind of know exactly what the risk reward is. It's very structured. I got a trail on something like a Micron. Snapchat, I'm breaking out the high of the day at a random price at 16.33. Not the same thing at all. And by the way, I am still trailing UAL, which despite the market trading to the upside, this has just only been going down. But I've tightened my trail up every single step of the way. I thought we'd get to 37 even. That's about the only thing that hasn't gone right in UAL, is we haven't actually gotten to 37 even. But I will get a bid out for the low of the day on this, as we are close to the close, and that means we have to cover this. So either my stop triggers or this gets back to the low of the day, at which point I'll be able to conclude that trade.
Man, I mean, I don't have much to say there, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. Like, I don't notice, like, when I'm sort of ranting there, and I wasn't even ranting, I was just explaining to you what prop trading is. I don't really notice the chat, so thank you so much for all the love there. Obviously, in the chat, it means a lot to me that we continue to get that support. So thank you for that, again, to everybody in the chat. We're not going anywhere, man. We're going to be here every single day the market's open. The U.S. market open. So I think we have, isn't there a holiday in early August? I think there is.
Canada has a holiday. There isn't one in the States.
Oh, there isn't one in the States.
It's
Okay,
only,
so
it's only Canada.
Okay, not one in the States. So okay, so my bad. I guess Labor Day will be our next day off, which will be in September. Okay, I love, like I said, I love that it's getting loud out there.
Wow, it's getting intense.
Yeah, that's great. It's almost like it's Friday already, which is fantastic. Nice weather, nice attitudes, nice everything. We love that on the floor here. All right, so I'm waiting for Bed Bath & Beyond to get to 9. Looking at the wrong stock, to get to 590. If it does come back up there to this 590 area, then we will get out of our last piece. Just waiting to see if there is a last second sort of bump up here for this name. So hopefully there is. We're almost out of AMD. I mean, this is one of those names that we're able to get that baby long down there, and then boom, up to, like, this is what I'm saying. Neil there is trading Amazon not moving as much, right?
At all.
Exactly. So at all.
It's not moving at all.
Yeah, like as much as AMD. Like, don't sleep on these trades that I'm putting on. Like, this was right there was 47 out 79. Like, that's 30 whatever cents that is in just a matter of 3 or 4 minutes. So don't sleep on these AMD trades. But it's Brendan, only a minute until the imbalances come out. But Brendan, what you got?
Possibly some positioning ahead of not only the imbalances, but earnings, guys. Snapchat up big time. Huge volume spike just came in there for Snap. Earnings aftermarket.
Yeah,
Is it Neil on that one?
I am, but it's like the breakout of the high of the day has gone 5 cents, man. Like, it's kind of frustrating. You know, the one that's going to be solid, like Micron, the 63 break is still climbing, and I just keep trailing this higher. But I'm now on the offer in front of 63.5. So if we get a spike up on the imbalances, I'll get out in front of 63.50, take that win for the last of my shares, and I've got a trailing stop just in case it flushes. Snap, I'll hold on to a little bit here. I've got a trail on UAL as well. And if you're watching Tesla, it's still in the same $5 range, and it's been all afternoon. I'm surprised. I mean, Tesla didn't break 820, and it actually failed to break down at 815. So Tesla holding the highs, which is super bullish, just didn't give you much of a day trade after, the shenanigans this morning. The breakout was sick. The 800 break was good. The 805, 810, 815, all those were pretty good to the upside. Now it's not doing much. Imbalances are in, and I see HR, that was at buyout. Verizon, 1.8. AT&T, CCL, 1.5 million to buy. Apple, 1.3 million to buy. Looks like it's mostly to the buy side here. Citigroup's a sell, 900,000 shares. Google's a buy, 800,000. Mostly to the upside, looks like. I'm going to get out of Amazon if it's upside.
Let's just hit that bang button, guys, because, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Banging out the winners for you one more time here on Trader TV Live. There it is right there for AMD. I mean, it doesn't get much sweeter than that. I just said, like, don't sleep on these wins. And there it is right there. We put another one on the board. And that's why we have the success that we have here. You stick with your trades. You get out when you smell some problems, but then you hold it for when it starts to bounce upside, and then you take that profit, and right there. So there we go. The imbalances worked out today because it was a little high side imbalance, but again, we're almost out of this trade anyways. We had about 20% left, so we'll take one more piece at 91 there on that bump back up for AMD and get that thing out of there. So good trading for me here on AMD, and we'll just continue with the momentum, man. I mean, it's been a great day for us. It's been a great week for us. We're going to go 4 for 4 this week. I said I'd go back. I'm not going to keep saying my numbers. It is what it is. Hopefully you guys are able to have some success as well. Bed Bath & Beyond, I thought maybe there might be some imbalances for this name, but it doesn't look like it. It's at the high of the day. We're long from down here, so yippee-ki-yay, you know what I'm saying? Up to the upside right here as we put some money in our pocket. Yeah, so I did. So what's up, Bostonia there? I only sold 20% of my Tesla trade. It's embarrassing where I'm long on this thing, so it's really just taking profit here on this. I think it's thousands of percent in the money, to be honest, or not thousands. I think it was 800% or something like that in the money for Tesla. I bought this thing obviously when it was first out, which is a hell of a long time ago. And then this is one of the only names I bought this name in Square during the pandemic bottom. So, and JP Morgan and SPG. I mean, there's a lot of names, but Tesla was one of the big ones. It's since, like, it went down to 200, then went back up to 2,000, then split, and is now back up to 800. So again, a lot of you that have been holding Tesla for years and years know what that's about. So selling it for profit at this point doesn't matter. What I'm selling Tesla for is just, there's so much competition now. I didn't like the fact that they had their margins compressed this quarter. But again, it's the second quarter. I don't really hold that much to it. I still do have some in my sort of my swing account. But for the longer term trade, I just took it out to raise some capital because I want to buy some tech next week. I'm already heavy into everything tech. But if Google comes out, Microsoft, Amazon, not as much Amazon, although I'm in Amazon. Meta is really the one that I'm interested in, that I have been buying some of these bottoms in Meta. So I'm interested to see where that one goes. But again, man, 40-cent winner on AMD, 40-cent winner on Bed Bath & Beyond. That's why we're here. That's why we're trading. And I hope you had a good day. Hit the like button if you haven't, at least. Share it, like it, post it, retweet it. Hit me up on Twitter as well.
Meanwhile, the ES is about to hit 4,000. 4,000 on the ES is incoming. The NASDAQ hasn't taken the high of the day. Micron turned green. I'm out. 63.50 was a target. 63 to 63.50. I did hold on to some of Snapchat here. I'm not holding Snapchat into earnings. I'm going to get out before 4 o'clock. But that lazy break that wasn't happening, it's now broken through in a better way here. So 16.50 just got taken out. So Snap takes out the high. Look, I'll tell you, it's a good-looking breakout. However, remember, they got earnings here. So it's really easy for this break to get faded if it's a disappointment. Like it's a very strong setup, but you have to have a good earnings print for that continuation. And I have to be flat in the next 5 minutes. So it's not as if I'm going to hold this into tomorrow. Tesla's still at 817, nothing there. And your buyer on Zila, I haven't seen it go anywhere. We'll watch that one tomorrow for that 15 cent, just in case there's a little bit of something. Amazon ended up being a pretty big nothing burger. I mean, this is us getting in at 50s and me getting out at 60. It didn't move, unfortunately. But fortunately, it means 125 is on the docket still, and we might get a shot at that level tomorrow. That is the $2,500 level previous to that split. And GameStop might not have done anything, but it is still splitting tomorrow. Even if it doesn't move, I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I do anticipate some fireworks, but I can't will them into existence today. The earnings board, we talked about a couple of them. Let's see what else is on tap there, Brendo.
And not the busiest day of the week, but an interesting one nevertheless. We talked about Snap already. Twitter, keep in mind, tomorrow morning, guys, before the open.
So right there at 355, by the way, I just got trailed out of Snapchat. Sometimes the imbalances flip. It's Twitter and Snapchat in the middle. That's what we care about. And more so Snapchat, because Twitter, the earnings matter, but have the whole Elon and the trial, that matters more.
Money.
You know what's good, Sharif, man? I mean, this guy behind us, what an animal. 500 pounds on a squat. Jesus, that's like 4 prads. Okay, here we go back up to the upside. Look at this move here to the upside. Yeah, no, I called Prad 175. It's obviously a joke. I did right on yesterday, Prad's weight there, 175. Look at that for AMD. Let's just do it again. I mean, this is what we're doing. Like Neil mentioned, 10 cents there on Amazon, 70 cents on AMD, right? But it is breaking now. I wish there was a little more time in this day because I really feel like these bottoms that we had here, like we had to get out because we have to be flat at the end of the day, right? So no, Neil was saying 3 for 3 prads.
No, it's 3 times. Yeah, that's 3 times prad. Like, yeah. 500 is 3 prads.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is still pretty damn impressive, man. Like
it's like 7 Lucases, right, Fahad? There, 10 Lucases. I cannot wait for this tomorrow. That's going to be so good. All right.
Talking a lot of trash, man.
Yeah, that's why I've got my money on Fahad, man. But okay, some nice little upside move here, obviously in AMD. Let's just cover this. There's only a few minutes left. We'll put it on the board.
Money.
Again, man. Look, I could write this out of my own contract, but I know everyone likes it, so we're going to do that there. So we'll have that money. Continue to go on there. As there it is right there. Look at that take. Look at that reload right down there. So that was a good one for us. us, and we'll end the day pretty good. Not at our highest spot though, but not bad at all. So far so good here today. Only 3 minutes to go. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Tony on the bell. That should be really exciting for everybody once again. And then, yeah, we into Friday, baby, off of a fantastic week here for me today, this week, and again today. So, hey, join us all tomorrow where we do this all over again.
Yeah, and if you're just showing you guys at 3:55, when I was saying like floor orders update the imbalances, so sometimes you get a shift in momentum. The market continued higher on the buy side. Snapchat dropped all the way to the breakout price, right at that same 50 area. And that's the key. When you note these prices, we're getting out sometimes out of trades in front of 350, in front of 355, and in front of 358 going into the close show. That's the reason why. Like, I'm not just randomly saying, 355, it's 5 minutes. No, it's because on the New York stock, sometimes you get that floor movement. And Tesla, by the way, just last second, with the markets taking highs, Tesla selling off. So some profit taking happening in Tesla. Couldn't seem to go, but hey, it's still the strongest stock here today, even if it doesn't finish on the highs with the rest of the market. Tony's going to be on the bell in just a couple of minutes here, guys. But the story is now 4,000 just got taken out on the ES. That's what you call a bit of a power move to the upside, closing on the highs of the day. Something which is a little bit refreshing for a lot of us here to see. That's what we like to see. It's a bull market, just checks notes. We do have the bull out there. Just wanted to make sure that was the right way. Tesla doing the heavy lifting, but at the end of the day, it was the ES that carried us through.
Oh man, yeah. What a great way to end with that AMD trade. Tesla 650, yeah, could possibly be coming inbound. 650. Oh, wait a second, Bostonia. Wow, okay.
650.
Then I am glad I sold some
Next
today.
Friday?
I got out about that 815, 870, 817 or so on Tesla. So good trading there as it's starting to pull back. Remember, we had the one in, one out killer here for Tesla today. That's an $11 winner for Tesla here today. So put that on the board one more time. Yeah, very, very exciting here on the close. New bell ringer coming through. You'll see it in a second. No or yes? Yes. Okay, good. Coming through. So, wow, 1.7 to buy was the billions there on that move to the upside. So nice on you for that one.
Yes, sir. And there's actually a couple of imbalances showed up there late. CCL, Carnival's still a 1 million buy imbalance. That actually hasn't flipped. I wasn't watching. I'm going to be watching Snapchat, but Carnival's still a buy imbalance. Worth watching. Market breaking out through the highs of the day. We got the bell ring in just about 20 seconds. Well, I don't know when Snapchat comes out. We'll watch at 4 o'clock. I do not know the timing on it, but we're going to drop that countdown for you guys on this Thursday. One more day, and you know Friday's going to be fire. We're going to be lit because we're going bowling, and Fahad is going to be going down.
All right,
but in five,
let's go.
4, 3, 2, and
there we go.
Whoa.
Battle.
Whoa.
Wow. You just saw Cheyenne there. Cheyenne from Day Trade the World marketing team there with Tony. So there you go. Tony and special guest Cheyenne from Day Trade the World. Another recent hire as we continue to grow and spend that money. So another good one here today. Yes, there we go. Sell off tomorrow, Nepa, Brendan. How did we wind up today?
Not only did we break 4,000, we closed above 4,000, guys. So very, very positive for the overall market. S&P almost a full percent there to the upside. The NASDAQ led all day long. 1.37 for the NASDAQ, the Dow 0.25% higher. But wow, that was impressive into the close. They were selling and selling and selling, and it didn't matter how much. We still, again, closed above 4,000. Pretty impressive.
Damn right it's impressive.
People saying, who is this Maggie as well? So yeah, Maggie just works.
She's been on camera.
Yeah, she's like an admin assistant for us. So if I have any questions, I can just quickly fire it off to Maggie as well. But yeah, so a great day, man. Here's Tesla just ends the day at that 8:15 mark. So up that 10%. What a great day for Tesla today. And what a great day for the Tesla trading through 800 there. So a good one. Neil will do the trade of the day, but that's the Tesla there. A couple good trades for us today on Tesla. And yeah, hey, the story isn't over yet in this market, man. We're going to have Snapchat coming through
Twitter
pretty soon. And Yeah, I mean,
Well,
Twitter.
it'll move. It just might not move tomorrow, but it'll move.
Yeah.
It'll move in the aftermarket. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
we'll be trading all of these tomorrow. So I want to give a big thanks to everybody today. Liz, everybody you've seen, Tony, Maggie, Cheyenne, Bears versus Bulls. Thank you so much again to you for the moderating. It's been fantastic. Who am I missing? Prad, Luca, Ian, Brendan as well.
Rankles.
Lucas, Fahad, Brandon in the back as well.
man.
Everybody, a big one. What's up,
Sharif.
Brendan? I just heard Brendan with a sigh. What does that mean?
The amount of trash talking that's happening right now between these two is tomorrow's going to be. I can't wait.
It's gonna be lit.
It's
I know,
going to be
it's gonna-
impressive.
It's going to be. It's going to be great.
There may or may not be a side
Snap
wager on gutter balls, guys. So Fahad is saying 50% gutter balls possible for Lucas.
Nobody's
But based on
50%
what?
gutter balls.
Like, if Lucas has golfed, has bowled before,
Come on,
he's
Fahad.
not throwing it in the gutter. You know what I mean?
50%
Fahad.
gutter balls.
Fahad telling me in his
Fahad,
ears.
you are just setting yourself up right now. You were just setting yourself up.
Fahad
bro.
just said he questions the fact that Lucas can carry a bowling ball to begin with. So that's going to come into play tomorrow. But hey, join us for the trade of the day. We said thank you to everybody. Another one to Bears versus Bulls. Thank you one more time. We're back tomorrow, bright and early at 8:30. So we'll see you guys then for Trader TV Live. I'm Sean. That's Neil. That's Brendan. And we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, guys.